Hey guys, Sly here, and before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know that this is actually a re-upload of a part of a series that I do on my Twitch channel called the SlytheWarrior Tierlists, where we pretty much rank a bunch of just random topics that I'm personally interested in. And so, because of that, these opinions are not set in stone for how I feel about in the current day. And so if you guys want a more updated version of that, feel free to either check out the DeviantArt link down below or tune in on my Twitch that will also be in the description, or check out my Discord where I occasionally post some more updated versions of how I feel about certain topics. And so do keep that in mind. And also make sure to check out the description of the video itself for the timestamps for the particular topic that is presented here. But in any event, I hope you guys do at least enjoy. I recommend you guys listen to this as either like a podcast form or as just something to play in the background. But in any event, hope you guys at least enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another tier list stream that I've been doing for, basically over a year now. And today we actually have a pretty special one up in our, doozy or whatever. Granted, I just realized I completely forgot I should have played a one of the Kevin Sherwood songs. I genuinely do apologize. But that being said, we are finally doing the Call of Duty Zombies tier list. So, obviously, I am personally a huge fan of Call of Duty's Zombies mode. And yes, while there are, some pretentious things about it, it's just something that I like going on occasion and just, pretty much just playing or whatever. And our buddy Edward Richthofen's telling Dylan, thank you for the sub. But yeah, thank you for the sub. Very topical too. But anyways, so obviously I am a huge fan of just zombies in general, and so much so that I probably spent way too much money trying to get all the DLC. I am very guilty of that, but it's actually for good reason, because I can actually finally form my own opinions for all these maps. As you probably have known, for the past 3 streams, we've been going through most of the games that has at least some sort of a zombies mode. And it's been torture, but it's also been pretty cool for some maps. And, it's just really interesting to see how much the game has, the mode has evolved. Because back when it started in World at War, it was just nothing. It was very bare bones, but cool enough to where we would eventually see it, have the extravagant Easter egg / quest things or whatever that we know to this day. For those who don't know, the Easter egg is pretty much basically just a mini quest. It's basically like a diet campaign mission, as I like to call it. So there you go. Hey, Handman, thank you for subscribing as well. That's pretty nice. But definitely do appreciate that. That being said, though, so this one's actually going to be a little bit different in terms of how I'm actually going to be doing this. I'm going to see if I can do this particular tier list a little bit faster. Yes, we have, I think it's 84 things we got to go through, which I know that's a lot. But I'm going to see if I can try to get this done a little bit faster. But, it is what it is. Yes, I know I saw you gift, but whatever. Anyways, so the thing is that the thing about zombies in general is, and also, by the way, I know it says Extinction. We'll get into that in a little bit. But the thing about zombies and Extinction by extension is that they are a bit more in-depth compared to your typical or just average sort of horde mode. Compared to something like Killing Floor or Halo's Firefight mode, or hell, even something like Rainbow Six's Terrorist Hunt, Call of Duty Zombies has a lot of mechanics that have been built into the games and the maps themselves, to where you kind of have to separate your criteria into separate categories for each individual map. So that's why for this particular list, I actually have a criteria thing. So I'm just gonna say this right now: I haven't finished the vast majority of the Easter eggs in the game. It's mostly just because if I really want to, but the thing is that a lot of it is co-op based, and that would just kind of suck if I just try to do these all by myself. I can't even do some of them on my own anyways. Like, it will literally lock me up to a certain point. So we're not basing it off the Easter egg, but we are going to be basing it off of the general story of the map. So whether it has it's a part of the overarching narrative and how if it fits well or not, or if it's a filler map. The characters that are on the map, so like the different crews, so like Primus, Victus, Ultimus, all that fun stuff. The general, just sort of the goal of the Easter egg. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about like the Easter egg itself because I don't have personal experience from that. But in terms of like what the overall just goal for like the map's like objective is, the map theming. So and then the map theming. So basically, if I like the look of the map, like if it looks like a giant gray block compared to a bright and colorful jungle, you probably get what I'm talking about later. But generally speaking, yeah, theming does matter to me. Like if a map has a really good layout, what will make or break that map for me is if it has a shitty theme to it. Like, if I hate the look of the map, I'm not going to play it. So, which, speaking of the map itself, just the general layout and the level design, the weapons, the wonder weapons as well, and the perks. And then in terms of the different enemies that are on each map, so, like, the different special enemies, so, like, Nova 6 crawlers, the witches from Buried, that sort of stuff. And then mini bosses, so like hellhounds, like the guys that have their own rounds. And then the actual like bosses themselves, like whether or not I think they look cool or not. So, and then also we do not have Call of Duty Mobile or Call of Duty Online or Black Ops Zombies Mobile on here because, well, quite frankly, no. And also, I will try to make sure that I will, keep away any sort of like community bias and just nostalgia with particular maps, because I'm just going to be real with y'all. Some of these maps are really popular, but I personally think are pretty overrated. And actually vice versa. There's some maps that are pretty hated or just ignored that I think aren't really as bad as some people make it out to be. So I want to make sure that I can remove as much bias as I can. Also, this is the most important thing. It's just my opinion. At the end of the day, like, I know there's been a lot of like heat between. Okay, I don't want to say heat in like a bad way, but just kind of in a funny way, where a bunch of YouTubers on on YouTube and Twitch have been doing this same thing with zombies, doing their own tier lists and whatnot, and they were absolutely clamming with just clashing with each other, which, to be fair, it does make for good entertainment, but at the end of the day, like, it's just one person's opinion. Like, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Like, go ahead, disagree with me. As a matter of fact, I know for a goddamn fact this is probably going to be my most controversial tier list, but I'm all for it. But I guess it is what it is. But yeah, no. I think that's all I've got to say. Oh yeah, also I know there's a haven't played tier that I made. I just wanted to get those out of the way. It's for DS. Yeah, it's for the Nintendo DS zombies because they have their own unique maps. So yeah, house, facility, temple, and outbreak or overlook. Excuse me. And also, apparently, the Exo Survival map Riot is actually technically a zombies map, but I haven't played it because you have to fucking do a bunch of the bullshit involving trying to get through all the other maps, which is just kind of lame. I didn't want to go through that. And yes, I mean, granted, I've been doing this a little bit more, but explicit mode is on, so if you don't like hearing shit, fuck, cunt, dick, all that sort of stuff, you should probably leave. But in any event, yeah, no. I would have invited some people in here, but I'm the only one who's definitely played all these maps. So, like, I don't know any of my other friends who owns all the DLC. So, but yeah, no. Before we do this, I'm gonna see if chat has anything they want to say before we get into this. I will say this. I will actually be going through the maps fairly, like I said earlier. I'm gonna try to make sure I do these fairly quickly, because to be quite honest, I want to do them by game. So, and I'll just kind of do it by, like, you know, chunks. So, but yeah, goddamn, this is gonna be, dude, I'm actually kind of scared, because, like, once again, I know the zombies community can be a bit ruthless at times, but I'll try to filter out people who are actually trying to, you know, be, you know, not cool. So, but all right, I don't think anyone in chat is saying anything, so I guess we can jump right into it. And obviously, the very first game we've got is good old World at War. Now, yeah, I'm actually going to be ranking them by chunks. So we've got Nocturne, Toten, Verrucht, Shinonuma, and Doris. And I think this is how I'm going to rank them. So Noct, Verrucht, Shinonuma, and Doris. So a bit different, I feel like. Like, for me, you can't really rank Noct badly because it is the first map. I think I mentioned this before with Izzy on the FPS tier list, where we talked about Wolfenstein 3D, where yes, it's a really dated game, but you can't really rank it badly because it was one of the first of its kind. And the same thing can be applied to Nocturne Toten. It's literally the first map for Call of Duty Zombies. Like, what the fuck do you expect? It's very... And also, here's the thing about Nocturne Toten as well. It's actually a really fun map because it doesn't have anything in it. Like, I still really enjoy playing Noct because it's the sort of map where it really takes a lot of skill, especially for someone who's used to playing with a bunch of the perk systems in, like, newer Call of Duty games. This game takes away that. Well, unless we talk about the remasters, which obviously we are going to be ranking remasters. But in terms of original World at War Noct, I really like playing it. Like, it's actually one of the very few maps that I actually do like playing, like, solo. Which, that's another criteria thing, is whether or not a map is better on solo or co-op or whatever. In this particular instance, solo is fun. It's a really challenging map. But at the end of the day, you can't rank it badly. Even if the story is bare bones and all that bullshit. You can't put it under an F. Like, I don't get why motherfuckers put this one on F. You can't rank it at F because it's the first fucking map. Like I said, it's like saying Wolfenstein 3D is an F tier because it doesn't have, like, specialists or bullshit. You can't do that. You just can't. So, there are very few exceptions where you can rank the first of a particular thing in F. Far Cry 1 being one of those. But I digress. But whatever. That's just kind of how I feel about Nocturne Toten. Generally, it's fun, challenging. It can be boring at times, but at the end of the day, it's fun. Verrucht, on the other hand, it's definitely... I'd say this one's arguably can be more challenging. So the thing about Verrucht is it's a very, very, very close quarters map. Like, it's a really tight feeling map, and that alone really makes it hard for you to be able to, like, train or even, like, camp in certain spots. And while I don't hate it as much as I used to, as a matter of fact, I think I declared this, like, my least favorite map for a little while. I've since grown on it, but even then, I still get, like, you know, uncomfortable feeling when it comes to, like, you know, training and camping in this map. Though I will say this, the theming of this map, oh my god, it's so good. Because it's a really creepy map. Like, this and Mob of the Dead, I can argue, are some of the creepiest maps in all of Zombies. Or, like, Well, until they made Blood of the Dead for Mob of the Dead. We'll touch that rabbit hole later. But generally speaking, like, just a lot of the atmosphere and, like, just a lot of the little, like, just the little things, like the dentist chair and, like, the noise that you can make with it, all the screaming and all that stuff. Like, ugh. Like, it's so creepy, man. Like, also, I forgot to mention this as well, but we are also going to, like, in terms of, like, theming, music's going to play a part of that. And I'm just going to say this right now. Like, I don't remember what the song is called. Lullaby for a Dead Man. It's okay. Like, this was Kevin Sherwood's first song. It's all right. There's been way better tracks. But in terms of, like, you know, everything else about this map, I mean, it at least introduced the peepee. There you go. But I don't know. That's all I gotta say about Verrückt is that it's a competent map. Even though it's my least favorite map in World of War, it's still fine. That being said, you know what's even better, and I think it's way too much shit? Shinonuma. Shinonuma's fun, people. Like, who the fuck hates this map? Like, I don't know, just, I feel like a lot of people give this map so much shit because, it's a little bit different compared to the other maps. Like, the difference between, Shinonuma and the other World of War maps is that instead of being a map where it loops around, like, you know, if you buy, like, a certain door or whatever, you know, you, sorry, I can't think. Like, instead of, like, being in a more, like, a circular pattern in terms of the map, it's actually more in the shape of an X. But I like that because it makes it more unique, and in a good way, by the way. And not only that, but also, it really makes you want to strategize how you want to really go around the map, especially since this was the first map to have random perk spawns, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, Verrückt introduced perks, so I got to give credit there. But Shinonuma, I think the random perk spawns work on Shinonuma. This is one of the maps where I think that random perk spawning works well on. Also, obviously, the Wunderwaffe, Hellhounds, the OG crew was introduced, and this is also one of the best maps, if not the best map, for high rounds. This is easily one of the easiest maps in all of Zombies because of how the zombies spawn. There's a glitch in Shinonuma. Well, there's actually many glitches in Shinonuma, to be fair, but in this particular version, there's a glitch where only like 24 zombies will spawn around instead of, like, you know, the incremental amounts of zombies that will spawn. And that makes high rounds way easier on Shinonuma. Like, if you want to be a high rounder, Shinonuma is your map. And once again, the theming of this map is really cool. It's so creepy. Like, people forget how creepy this map actually can be. Like, especially like that woman wailing in the background, and then whenever you get near Richtofen's, like, book, like, whenever you, like, click it in his office, it's so cool, dude. I don't know. Generally speaking, Shinonuma gets too much hate. I will literally fight anyone to the goddamn death who says that Shinonuma is a bad map. It's not a bad map. It's not. I love it. But I don't love it as much as Doris. If anyone's been watching me for a while, you know Doris is actually my favorite map. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do something for a little bit. Or for a second. I'm going to add... Actually... Yeah, we're adding a Doris is king. Oh, shit. Oh, god damn it. I messed it up. Yeah, this is my favorite map. Like, far none. Like, I really dig Doris. Because, to me, it's the perfect map if you just want to play with people. Like, at the end of the day. Because, like... The layout is near perfect. The Flytrap Easter egg, is amongst one of the first Easter eggs to be introduced. Pack-a-Punch was introduced. What else was introduced in this map? God, what else? I mean, the monkey bombs, the Bowie knife, and not only that, but also, like, I don't know, just to me, this map really is the prime example on how to make a really good zombies map. Like, because like I said, the layout is cool. The theming is okay. Not as, like, it's not really the creepiest map in the world, but it still invokes, it's some sort of an unsettling vibe. The spawns are pretty good. The only thing that I will say about this map that does kind of suck is the Wonderwaff jug glitch, where if you get shocked by the Wonderwaff, you have the potential, if not just a flat out, thing of just losing the perk, which is really bullshit. But other than that, really good map. Like I said, the layout's pretty good. Also, the best, is it the best song? Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention about the song called "The One" that was on Shinonuma. That one's definitely better, but it's not as good as Beauty of Annihilation, which is pretty damn good. But I don't know. Okay, I do really like Paradolia on Shangri-La, though. I don't know. Generally speaking, Derice is a goated map. It is my favorite map of all time. Specifically the World at War version. Like, we'll rank the Black Ops 1 version real soon. But this map holds a special place in my heart. Like, this is just, one of, if not the best, experiences that I will ever have for just really any video game. And that's saying a lot, because Sly 2 is my favorite video game of all time. But Derice is just one of my favorite, virtual locations of all time. I really love Derice. So, sorry. I know I'm dragging this on, but it's just such a good map. Like, if you haven't, go get World at War when it's on sale on Steam and just play Derice. It will be worth it. So, and there is a reason why it's been remastered twice. So, which, speaking of, that is unfortunately the end of the World at War maps, but we are going to be talking about the remasters that they brought over into Black Ops 1, because I actually have not played these until recently. Like, last week was actually the first time I've ever played the Black Ops 1 remasters of the World at War maps. And I'm just going to say this right now. Noct is about the same. Like, I think I prefer World at Wars because I prefer just the weaponry of World at War overall. But, whatever. Verrückt actually is better in Black Ops 1, if I'm just going to be honest. Like, I really like Verrückt in BO1. Shinonuma, it does get a little bit down, I feel like. I think that one probably suffers the worst. But Derice is still pretty good. It's still king. So why do I say this, though? Noct is, it's pretty much the same map. The main difference is in the box, they have all the Black Ops 1 weapons, they have monkey bombs, and they brought the thunder gun in this freaking map, which you might think because of that, it actually makes the map easier, but it actually doesn't. It's just around the same difficulty. Because they only really change, like, besides, like, the weapons, there's very minute changes into this map. Granted, it does add in Mule Kick, but it doesn't have any other perk, which, in my opinion, is how you should play this map. You shouldn't have to have Jug or any of that. But I digress. We'll, once again, go down that later. But, it's just... It's just the same. Like, if I'm going to be honest. Hell, it even has the same wall weapons, which... I'm genuinely surprised. So, there you go. And then, it does have the song Undone, but other than that, it's the same map. Verrückt, on the other hand, I actually really like Verrückt on Black Ops 1 a little bit more because of the, ironically, I think the weaponry in Black Ops 1 actually fits Verrucht more than Noct in Shinonuma, which I know that might sound weird, but it makes the map just a little bit easier as a result. Yeah, I know the Winter's Howl's on this map, and it's not really the greatest wonder weapon, but it at least helps a little bit. But, you know, it is what it is. It has the same Easter egg song, same layout, you know, same perks, same wall weapons, all that stuff. But because of, you know, the tiny additions of, you know, monkey bombs and all that stuff, it's a little bit better in my opinion. Unfortunately, though, Shinonuma and it being on Black Ops 1, I think it's actually, well, you know what? Well, okay, I'm going to put this actually above. Because, like, to me, it's a fixed version of Shinonuma, but I think the reason why I like the original Shinonuma more is because it, you know, was way easier to get up to high rounds. Because they fixed it to where, you know, just like all the other maps, it does make it to where the zombies do spawn regularly instead of the, you know, glitch within World at War. And because of that, it's a little bit more of a gimped version in my opinion, but that doesn't make it bad. So I still personally enjoy it. Like, that's the main reason why. It's just that small gimped version that just kind of makes me, yeah. As for Derice, I mean, it's the same thing. Well, okay, well, here's the funny thing about Black Ops 1 Derice. It does fix the glitch involving Jug, where if you get shocked, you know, get that removed or whatever. But in exchange for that, it removes the PPSH, which really upsets me and wounds me because the PPSH is a goated weapon. Like, any fan of World of War will tell you that. And, like, it wounds me. It wounds me that they didn't bring it back, especially since it was in the campaign, which was kind of bullshit. But I digress. But point being, it's still a really cool, it's a still really good version of Derice. I still prefer World of Wars, mainly just because of the PPSH, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, that's just kind of how I feel. Now, we got World of War done. It took us 20 minutes to explain that. Now let's get into Black Ops 1 proper. And this is where I feel like, you know, it gets a little bit more controversial, because for a while, I was in a phase where I didn't really care for Black Ops 1 as much as Black Ops 2 or even World at War. But I'm just going to be honest, some of these maps have definitely grown on me. That being said, okay, whatever. Well, okay, let's get in here. Okay, Kino. There. Ooh, 5. This is a really difficult one for me. Is it good? Okay, if I decide to change my mind later, I will. But for now, I'll just put it here. Dead Ops is right up here, though. Ascension, S. Call of the Dead, ooh. Do I like it more than Shinonuma? Yes. But Chang is, like, right there. Moon, no. Here, borderline here. So, yeah, no, pretty controversial, I know. So, Kino. So, I will just admit this right now. I was one of those people who did not start off with World of War. I actually started with Black Ops 1, and I started with Kino. Though, well, technically no, because I've known about Ascension longer. Okay, we'll just say the first map that I physically played was Kino. And I'm just going to say this right now. It's honestly overrated. I'm sorry. Like, I know, like, you know, some people are groaning right now saying, no, it's not overrated. It's the most popular map. But that's why it's overrated. It's because, to me, this map is a gimped version of Derice. Why do I say that? So, I will give credit where credit is due with this game, like with this map. So, first, for starters, the Thunder Gun. I really love the Thunder Gun. I think it's a pretty goddamn amazing weapon that, is pretty fun to use on this map. Also, the fact that they actually fixed Quick Revive in this, because in World of War, Quick Revive doesn't actually revive you automatically on solo. It's only usable between like different players in co-op. So I will give it that. Also, the layout itself is not terrible. It's fine. But this is where my issue lies. It's too easy of a map. Like, unlike Shinonuma, where it's actually kind of fun to get through, as a matter of fact, like, it's easy to get to high rounds, but it's still a little bit challenging because you got the water and all that stuff, because it is a swamp. With Kino, you don't really have that problem. Like, because of the Thunder Gun and because it's using Black Ops 1 weaponry, it is made a little bit easier, because this was supposed to be a World of War map, but because of the scheduling with Modern Warfare 2, they couldn't release it in World of War. They had to release it in Black Ops 1. But like, I don't know, it just that like just I just get really bored after a while playing Kino. That, and also, I'm just gonna be honest, this map is a giant gray block of nothing. This map is not really all that pleasant to look at. Like, it's really, like, it really does drag it down for me. And like I said earlier, theming really does matter to me. If I don't care about the theming of a map, I'm not going to really play it. Or at least I'm not going to enjoy playing it. Also, this is something that I noticed that not a lot of people talk about. But if you try to go down... typically what people do is that they would go through the bar in the dressing room to get to power. But in this, like, if you go down the alley and inside that corner room, you're shit out of fucking luck. You're gonna get trapped in there easily. And that's just something that not a lot of people talk about, is that, like, a good third of the map is somewhat unplayable. And that, to me, is just... that alone does not put this map in A or S tier for me. Also, Nova 6 crawlers are just the absolute worst thing in the world. Like, I really hate the Nova 6 crawlers. So, that being said, I mean, it's not the worst map. I can still at least have fun in it, but it's borderline B. To me, it's the most just middle of the road map for all of zombies for me. Like, it's nothing that's like amazing, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Then we get to 5, which for the longest time I've hated 5. Like, 5 was just a map that I just groaned and just dreaded wanting to play. Like, I really hated 5 because of a few reasons. Number one, I really hated the oh, by the way, going back to Kino, 115 sucks. I'm sorry, I hate that song. Anyways, 5. The layout is just, it ain't it, Chief. I really do not like how, it's elevator based, and I really hate the teleporters. Like, the teleporters are just so, unreliable on this map. And the biggest problem is the fucking Pentagon Thief. Like, he's a fucking piece of shit. Fuck him. Basically what he does is he spawns in the map similar to Hellhounds and will just steal your gun. It's fucking bullshit. Like, to me, that's probably like the most annoying thing for any zombies map. Like, even more than losing a perk on frickin' Moon sucks. That's why it's at C, almost D. But that being said, like I said last week, I did recently play through 5, and if you get set up very easily, like, if you can get set up, you can take out the Pentagon Thief relatively fast with either a ray gun or Winter's Howl. And that's something that I will have to appreciate. And also, playing co-op is actually pretty damn fun. Like, this is a co-op map for sure. I didn't really express that too much with Rook or Shinonuma, if I'm going to be honest. But, to me, playing co-op on 5 is so much better than playing solo. Because to me, if I was playing this map solo, this is like down here. It's easily the worst map. Like, okay, well, freaking Moon sucks. So, like, co-op. But because playing co-op is quite frankly like A, maybe even S tier, it balances it out. So, and also, to be fair, I mean, I really like the theming of the map. Being in the Pentagon, that's pretty cool. Is this the first? Oh yeah, that's right. Rook takes place in an actual sanatorium that exists. Obviously, the Pentagon takes place in the Pentagon. Like 5 takes place in the Pentagon. And also, the crew is pretty cool because you get to play as Kennedy, Nixon, Castro, and my favorite, McNamara, who loves talking about how much his math is wrong, and I love that. Damn, my math was wrong. Like, oh my god. Him alone makes it worth it. So, either way, I actually, you know what? I think I prefer it over Kino, now I think about it. I definitely prefer it over Kino, so, hell yeah. That being said, as you can see, we are also ranking Dead Ops, and I did bring up Dead Ops Arcade 1. And quite frankly, this is my favorite Dead Ops. I really like playing through this. People gave this so much shit back in the day, too. And that's a little bit upsetting, because I actually enjoy playing through Dead Ops, at the end of the day. Like, because unlike most other zombies thing, it's actually more like a typical arcade top-down shooter. And it can be so goddamn fun. Like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so fun playing through it. Especially if you bring like a buddy. It's great. It's truly fun. Though a time waster, I still like playing through it. Then we get to Ascension, which honestly is an S tier map. Which, by the way, just to let you know, S tier maps does not mean perfect. Like, at the end of the day, there is nothing in my mind that is a perfect map. So, Ascension, the only problem that I have with the map are the monkeys. I agree, those bastards are fucking annoying. That being said, they are way easier to deal with if you're playing on co-op. So at the end of the day, I'm not worried about playing like against them in like co-op. Also, the introduction of both Stamina Up and motherfucking PhD Flopper on this goddamn map, and the Matryoshka dolls, and the sickle, and bringing back the Thunder Gun, and bringing the Gersh devices. It's so cool. Also, the layout is pretty damn cool. And the theming of this map is, being in a Russian Cosmodrome. I love it. I love it so much. Also, arguably, one of the best, if not the best spawn room. Like, the layout of the spawn room is near perfect. And like I said before, this is technically the very first map that I have actually seen gameplay of. Like, I remember over 10 years ago, whenever my cousins were, they had Black Ops, like, for a while. I wasn't really allowed to play it, because whatever, I'm not getting into that. But basically, I saw my cousin play Ascension whenever, I think it was a couple of weeks after, I think it was like a week after it came out. And honestly, just seeing this map really made an impression on me. And so, yeah, I will admit I'm a little bit biased, but even taking that bias away, just playing it, in 2021, 10 years after this map came out, almost 11 now, I still personally enjoy playing it. Like, especially playing it on co-op, on this thing that's about to get destroyed in a couple of days, but whatever. That being said, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Also, I'd say one of the more creative ways to get to Pack-a-Punch, yeah, it's similar to Doritos with the teleporters. But, I thoroughly enjoy it. So, All right, then we get to Call of the Dead, which low key is pretty damn good. Like, I mean, I'll just say it right now. Like, some people really hate this map because of George Romero, rest in peace. But I actually think that he's a really cool addition to the map, because basically what he is he's a roaming boss that takes forever to freaking kill. And what that does is make it to where camping in a specific spot is not a viable option. And to me, that really makes the map, really tense, because it's like, hey, we've got this lingering threat that's going to be following us throughout the entirety of the game. How, like, we can't really camp here. Like, it basically makes it to where if you're a camper, it gets you out of your comfort zone in a way that, is actually pretty fair, because he's really not that fast at the end of the day. So, unless you shoot him, but that's besides the point. Also, besides him, the other big complaint that people have is the fact that this was the first map to have the fog rolling in. Like, if you guys know the meme, oh god, but basically what would happen on like every 3 or 4 rounds or something like that, instead of like, a round-based enemy spawning, a massive just wave of like fog will just, sort of go throughout the map. But unlike a map like the Darkest Shore, which obviously we'll get to later, you can actually see relatively fine. And I was never bothered by it. Like, to me, this, like, I thought it actually added to the atmosphere, especially since you're pretty much in this map, as you can see with the picture, you're nearby a lighthouse. So, and I don't know, it's just the vibe is just pretty cool. Also, Deadshot Daiquiri, the most one of the more underrated perks. I will fight people to the death. I really like Deadshot, but whatever. But yeah, no, like, to me, I was never really bothered by a lot of the stuff that people complained about this map. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Okay, I will say this, the layout is not the best. If you're on the ship, there's a spot where if you jump down, you have to go a completely other way to get back up to there. But even then, it's not nearly as bad as a map like Die Rise. Like, ugh. So, also Jug is in a really awkward. Yeah, Jug and Mule Kick are really in like an awkward spot in the map, but whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world. What else does this map do really bad? Oh, the Wonder Weapons. Wonder Weapons are pieces of shit. Yeah, the Scavenger with like being an explosive sniper. Which, okay, I actually like the Scavenger. I don't like the VR11, which is literally, it's only used for the Easter egg. Which I guess fair enough, but it's like, why do you have to roll for it? That's just like, granted, I'd rather roll for it than do like a fucking, 50-hour quest to try to make sure to build a weapon, but whatever. Overall, though, Call of the Dead. Oh yeah, also, this was one of the few maps that I actually did do the Easter egg on. I actually did it on stream, I think, earlier this year, ? And it was pretty fine, I thought it was pretty cool. But overall, it's a good map. It's not bad. Anyone who says it's bad, you're just trash. Anyways, then we get to Shangri-La, which this is another map, which is like more so than like Call of the Dead, because Call of the Dead does have its haters, but they're not nearly as many as people who hate Shangri-La. Like, I like Shang. Like, dude, literally a couple, like, I played Shangri-La on Black Ops 1 for the first time in like 5 years. And I was really having a lot of fun. Like, I was like, basically the layout of this map is it's a circular map, but it's in like a vertical circle and sort of like, a horizontal thing. And there's like a bridge on the map, and I was camping there, and quite frankly, like, that was pretty fun to do, especially with, honestly, I won't say my favorite, but one of my favorite wonder weapons, the baby gun, which literally shrinks the zombies into little like small children zombies. And you can run. Okay, this sounds horrible by me saying this, but basically it shrinks the zombies and you're able to just run over them and like instantly kill them regardless of round. And I love that. Also, I will say this though, Pack-a-Punch is a bitch to get through on co-op because you have to have everyone press on like individual pressure plates to get a Pack-a-Punch opened. But playing on solo, it's not really all that bad, or even like just 2-player. Also, I'll just bit of a hot take, I know, but the zombie, like the enemy zombie types, are not really that annoying. Like the napalm zombie, people bitch about, but dude, just get PhD or Jug, and you'll be good. Hell, just use the baby gun and just run his ass over. Like he's really not that difficult to deal with. The Shrieker zombie is probably a bit more annoying, but even then, once again, just get the freaking baby gun and run his ass over. Like it's not that hard to do. Also, the monkeys on this map, unlike Ascension, which are a bit annoying, they actually can't help you because they steal your drops, your power ups, whatever you want to call them. But you're able to get like a free perk from them, like if you time it correctly. And to me, that really makes it pretty fun. And also, that's not even going into like the different like traps and the different like the mine cart and the slot, like the water slide and all that. It's just a fun experience. Is it a little bit like smaller than Call of the Dead and Ascension? Yes, but honestly, I really like Shang. I think it's underrated. I think it's a little bit overhated. Like it's a fun time. Unfortunately, what isn't a fun time... Actually, you know what? Now I think about it, I am going to put it down here, dude. Like this... Okay, Moon... I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what the fuck people are thinking, but this map has been getting a bit of a resurgence of love recently, and that is fucking unacceptable because, quite frankly, the original version of Moon is pretty dog shit. I'm just going to say it right now. Granted, we will talk about the Chronicles version of Moon later, but I really hate this version of Moon, dude. Like, oh my god. So, first problem with the map, Area 51. So, while in concept, I can at least, see what they were going for. Basically, an infinite, spawning area for zombies where, basically it's not really tied to a round. They just spawn infinitely. That's whatever, right? Motherfuckers on co-op, though, love thinking that they're the shit and fucking go through that area only for them to fucking die and then screwing everyone else up because there's a teleporter to the moon that everyone has to stand on. And yeah, you see the problem. Also, the fact that on Black Ops 1, okay, well, technically on both BO1 or BO3, but it's Sleepy and BO3. On Black Ops 1, the Juggernog and Speed Cola, which are the best perks in the game, let's just be real here, they spawn every other time you're in this area. Both of them will never appear at the same time. And that gets really fucking annoying. Especially since you have to traverse the entirety of the other part of the map to get to Area 51. It's fucking annoying. Also, the excavators suck. Basically, there's 2 tunnels in the map. Like, there's Tunnel 11 and there's Tunnel 6. If one of these excavators punches through in between these different areas, it will literally block your access to go in between different parts of the map. It's fucking annoying. I'm not even gonna talk about the astronaut. Fuck him. He steals your perks, and he's the worst fucking. He's one of the worst bosses in all of zombies. Fuck him. He's annoying. That being said, there are some so yeah, basically I really fucking hate this map. Like I really do. A part of me really wants to put this map in F cuz playing this map on co-op or excuse me, on solo is fucking insufferable. That being said, there are some positives to the map. I will give it. First of all, the anti-gravity. I think it can be fun. Like, some people find it annoying, which at first I did, but I don't think it's actually nearly as bad, especially since it actually does affect the zombies too. Because I noticed in this map, they actually do move a lot. They do move a little bit slower than they would do normally in like any other map. And to me, that actually makes it a little bit easier to get away from zombies, unless if they're in a giant horde, but I digress. Also, the biodome area is so good to train in. Like, I will have to say, the biodome, like, if I'm able to set up and go into the biodome, it will make the pain of the map worth it. Because I love the biodome area. Like, it's so big. Like, it's actually the same size as Shinonuma, which is just insane. Like, that area alone is just as big as that, which is... So... And then also, I mean, the first map to really have Mule Kick in it. I mean, Mule Kick's okay. You know, like, I don't really use it all that often, but whenever I do, it's useful. Granted, it shouldn't be 4,000 fucking points, but whatever. So yeah, overall, I really don't like this version of Moon. Like, Black Ops 1 Moon sucks. So, I really don't get motherfuckers who love this map. Like, dude, how the fuck do you deal with the goddamn astronaut? Like, how can you, like, have the tolerance to deal with him? But, whatever. Rant over about Moon. Unfortunately, we're about to rant on a few more maps real soon, but I digress. We're gonna have to do it. So, here we go. All right, transit. Ooh. Slightly controversial take. I'll put transit at D. Bus depot, D. Town, though, A. Farm, C. Diner, F. Nuketown, A. Die Rise, F. Fuck that map. Mob of the Dead. Another controversial one there. Cell Block. C. Buried. There. Burrow. Origins. There. Okay. So. I probably already received a bunch of death threats. I know. But let me explain. So. Transit. If you are familiar with the Call of Duty Zombies community, you have probably heard it all. This map is not good. Like, the way that the bus work sucks. The denizens are annoying. The Avogadro sucks. The fact that the map is just way too big for its own good. Way too ambitious for its own good. What else is... Oh, yeah. The way that power works. The fucking jet gun. The fact that the area that is in the farm is kind of pointless. Like, you probably heard it all. You probably have heard it all. And to be quite frank, I agree with a lot of those criticisms. As a matter of fact, if you play this solo, this is literally one of the worst things. Like, it would be F if you play it solo. That being said, if you play it with co-op, it's not too bad. It's probably more like I'd say it's like mid to high C if you play it on co-op, because you have more space to deal with. Like, you have a lot more bodies to make sure that you can get stuff done in the map. And that also just sort of diverts where a lot of the bullshit of the different, enemies go through. And also, I'm not going to lie. The tunnel in between the bus depot and the diner is actually a really good place to freaking train, if I say so myself. Granted, you got to make sure you don't hit the freaking bus. But like, or get hit by the bus, excuse me. And so like, and also being the first map to introduce Double Tap 2.0, like, I have to give it a little bit of credit. That being said, I'm not gonna really rant about this map. Like, it's been trashed on to death. I'm not gonna really add to that conversation. Though I will just say I don't think it's nearly as bad in retrospect because of just how many awful maps have spawned as like after this map came out. That's all I've got to really say about this particular map, but I digress. That being said, Bus Depot. I mean, it's one of those maps that's just kinda, it just exists. You know, like, you don't really play it for all that long. Granted, I do appreciate Treyarch for, dividing up transit into different sections. That's also another thing that I have to at least give transit this, is that at least it was designed to be a map where it is an all-encompassing map, but it is divided up into different sections. And that is something that, I have to really give credit where credit is due, because that really makes it to where, you can have some really fun experience. If you don't like the overall encompassing map, you can just play one of the smaller sections of the map. So that I do like. That being said, Bus Depot is not really something that you would really want to play. Though I will say, I'm at least glad that Treyarch did implement a map very similar to Noct, because that is this map's appeal, is that basically it's a map with no perks, only the box. And in that respect, I'll give them that. Even though Nocturne Totem actually is in the map, but that's besides the point. But yeah, no, I can at least give them that. It's just a map I just don't go back to. That's the problem. So that's all I gotta say, is that it's just it just kind of feels pointless. That being said, Town, there's a reason why Town is the most popular map, or even just sub map in Black Ops 2. It's because it is sort of your Doris / Kino der Toten equivalent. So you have all the basics. You have the perks, you have the pack-a-punch, you have all that sort of stuff. And it's also just a really good layout for the most part. Like, you only have to buy 3 doors. There's only 2 spots where the box can go. All the perks that are on the actual transit map are on this version of, this, are in this sub map, excuse me. So you have Tombstone, which Tombstone's lame, but whatever. That's besides the point. I think the only thing that really does knock this map down is there is, unfortunately, there's 2 really game-breaking glitches on this map. One is a glitch where if there's too many if there's too many background noises that are going on at the same time, if there's a bunch of sound files that the game is playing, it will start causing this infinite static sound for the rest of the match, and that really fucking annoys the hell out of me. I've had that happen multiple times, and it usually does happen on this map. It can happen on other maps, but it's definitely most prominent on Town. Also, there is a glitch on this map where sometimes a zombie will spawn outside of the map, and it will just continue. It will infinitely continue on the round that you're on, and that really gets frustrating. So, unfortunately, it is a really glitchy map, but at the end of the day, it's still solid enough that I would consider it to be an A tier map. Actually, as a matter of fact, a little bit above that. And then we get Nuketown. Dude, this is another map that gets a lot of shit, and I quite frankly don't get it. I really like Nuketown. Like, to me, similar to Noct, or even like Verrucht or whatever. Oh shoot, I forgot we're supposed to talk about freaking farm. Sorry. Before we get to Nuketown, farm. I mean, it's your Verrucht / Shinanuma equivalent. It just exists, though I do prefer it over Bus Depot, mainly just because the layout is fine. You only have one door. You have double tap 2.0. So at the end of the day, it's fine. Diner though is F. Like, Turned is just a horrible game mode in my opinion. I really hate Turned. Basically, it's where one person's a lone survivor, and it's basically inverse infection. That's basically how I would describe Turned. And I really don't like playing it. Also, the map itself is just way too small, I feel like, for the type of game mode it was going for. So yeah, no, that's our first F tier. It's not fun. There's a reason why no one plays it. Like, literally the last time I checked, 0 people were playing Diner. There is a reason why no one's playing Diner. It's because it's fucking trash. Anyways, yeah, going back to Nuketown. Yeah, no, like, to me, this is it's a challenging map, but in a fair way. Similar to Shinanuma, it has random perk spawns, but to me, it adds to the challenge of the map in a fair and more, generally speaking, balanced way. Why do I say that? Because it helps you learn how to survive without, relying on crutch perks, especially in Black Ops 2. And to me, that's pretty cool. So, like, at the end of the day, that's something that I can at least appreciate. Yes, it's freaking Nuketown. Like, it's been done to death by this point. But at the end of the day, I can at least appreciate it, Like, I can at least appreciate what they were going for. And not only that, but also, it even exceeds a lot of the stuff that I really like involving this map. In particular, because of just, just the little things, Like, they made it to where the layout does fit more in line with a zombies map. And being able to train in the backyard areas of the map are so fun. Also, the M27, really goated weapon. I wish it was in more maps. I wish it was actually on Proper Buried. I don't know why it's on Burrow, but excuse me, whatever. Excuse me. Also, it's a good thing that this map does not have dogs, because you could technically turn on dogs in town. I don't know if people know that, but it is what it is. But on this map, like, you don't, like, it's just zombies. So it feels more in line with a World of War map in that regard. And that's something that I can appreciate, just having just one map dedicated to, like, just zombies is a bit of a breath of fresh air. Also, not having to deal with power, it's just a breath of fresh air. So, I don't know. Generally speaking, I like Nuketown. Fuck the haters. I don't care. I like it. Like, it's a goated map. You know what isn't a goated map, though? Die Rise. I hate Die Rise. Like, it is literally insufferable to play through for me. And yes, if any, like, YouTuber reaction videos watching this, yeah, no, I would play Transit over Die Rise. Or, let me phrase that. I would rather play Transit than Die Rise, especially, like, specifically if Transit is on co-op. If it's solo, that's really teetering it. But either way, I think Die Rise is worse. I think the level design is it's completely fucked, because if you're trying to go for the box, there's only, like, a handful of locations that are on the map. Like, but there's one location that is right next to another, but it's blocked by a giant hole, which means you have to traverse the entire fucking map just to get to that one fucking spot. It's absolute bullshit. Like, I think Treyarch did that as a troll, but in hindsight, it was really just a dick move. Because what if you didn't have all the fucking points? Also, it takes for, like, dude, it takes at least, like, what, 10 minutes just to get around the entire fucking map? And that's not even talking about the fucking elevators, which I know you can argue, oh, but what about the key? The key's on the map. Yeah, but sometimes the key will fucking spawn on another goddamn building while you're waiting for a fucking elevator. It's bullshit. Also, hot take, parkour does not need to be in a zombies map. Like, I don't know who thought it was a good idea to add in parkour, but quite frankly, especially on Black Ops 2, like, dude, if you don't have stamina up in this, like, in Black Ops 2, or excuse me, like, if you don't, like, excuse me, like, in Black Ops 2, if you don't have, like, stamina up as one of your perks, you run so slow, and sometimes you are afraid you're going to miss your jump, and it's infuriating every time you fucking miss, like, the most basic jump, because you run out of stamina. It's so, that alone just really just makes it infuriating for me. Also, jumping jacks, bad mini boss. Reusing Nova crawlers, no, that's not allowed. I will shun anyone who thinks that was a good idea. Like, that was a shitty idea to begin with. Also, the one good thing that was about the map was the wonder weapon, but even then they nerfed that thing to the fucking ground to where it's not really worth building. Okay, it's worth building, but it's not really worth mentioning. Also, here's the thing about about Transit and Die Rise. This is the intro. These were the maps that Victus were on, right? Like the Transit crew. They were not it. Especially on this map, where they were really chatty and really goddamn annoying. And that leads me to the final point that I will just bring up for this map. This is probably the most pointless map in all of Zombies. At least in terms of story. Because, like, even Nuketown had a point. At least the whole point of that map was to be a map to train you to help train you how to play through Black Ops fucking 2's mechanics. This map, what does this help you with? Jumping? Well, guess what? This is the only map that really, exemplifies on jumping. So that's not even really worth it. Trying to, get accurate shots on your enemies? Well, no, because Buried does that, and you have to do that for an Easter egg in Buried. So, what's the point of the map? There's none. Exactly. Also, I just remembered Who's Who is literally the worst perk in all of Zombies. You will never convince me otherwise. It is literally the worst. So, whatever. Fuck this map. This map's a piece of shit. And for the longest time, this was my least favorite map. Like, actually, this is still probably my personal least favorite map. I hate this map with a passion. But I digress. If there's going to be, like, people in Johnny J's cult with Die Rise, I'm just going to block you because you're just a bunch of idiots. So, anyways, let's move on to Mob of the Dead. So, Mob of the Dead. I did put this at A tier, which does make it controversial. So, all the criticisms, but not criticisms. All the praise that this map does get, I do agree with. The theming is really goddamn good. Just like with Rooked, it's really creepy of a map. Brutus is a really good boss. The layout is okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. The area where Pack-a-Punch is. The story. What else is on the criteria? I forgot about that. Oh yeah, Electric Cherry. The Blundergat. I just bit my tongue. Fuck. God damn it. I just bit my freaking tongue and that really hurt. Don't worry, it's not bad. So yeah, I do agree with all that. Like, in that aspect, I think it's really cool. Unfortunately, there are just two major things that really do not make it for me for this map, if I'm going to be honest. One of them is a bit more subjective for me, I admit, but the other one, no one talks about at all. So, first thing, hot take, I don't really care for the afterlife system in this game, or in this map. So it's basically, for those who don't know, basically, instead of quick revive, you actually have, you're given like you're given a spiritual entity for each of your characters, for a limited amount of time, and that pretty much acts as the way that you can revive yourself. And while it's not a terrible mechanic, I just didn't really care for it personally. As a matter of fact, I actually kind of found it annoying at times, because whenever I would try to turn on certain parts of the map, because like this map doesn't really have power, you have to go into this mode to turn on everything. It got tedious at points, and I don't know, I just didn't really care for that personally. But the other thing is something that I feel like not a lot of people really talk about, and it doesn't bother me, but it is a bit annoying that no one really does bring this up. Have you really ever thought about getting Pack-a-Punch on this map? Like trying to set up just to get to Pack-a-Punch? Like, just really think about it. It's not, to me, it feels like a fucking chore in this map, because like you have to get, a certain amount, you have to get like 5 different items to build a plane that can go all the way over to the Golden Gate Bridge, which is where Pack-a-Punch is. By the way, this map takes place in Alcatraz, for those who don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, I really do not like that process. Like, especially what was the one that I really hated? I just played this the other day. God damn it, I can't think of it. But basically, there was one particular step that I really hated doing. And oh yeah, it's the one inside of the cage. Like the item like the rope that's inside the cage. I did not care. Like, that one just kind of can get really annoying, and also just trying to, like, as a result of trying to get to Pack-a-Punch, trying to open up all the doors, because there's a lot of doors on this map. Like, I don't know. It's just, for me, it's the little things that do really make me not like this map as much as some other people do. It's still a good map. As a matter of fact, like, I'm going to put it above, like, BO1 Verrucht. Maybe even up here. But to me, this is also just, keep in mind, this is also just kind of the first map where it was starting to become, like, more complicated for zombies. Like, meaning, before Mob of the Dead, most maps pretty much had, a pretty simple setup in terms of how you would, get your character up to, like, max, I don't want to call it max level, but basically just, get all the perks that you want, get all the weapons you want, and then pretty much go for high rounds from there. It was pretty simple. Maybe even do the Easter egg if you really want to. This was the first map to really tie in the Easter egg to getting to, Pack-a-Punch. And this was also the first map where there was a lot of, like, excess mechanics that were added to pretty much, aid you in the map. I don't know really how to describe it. I know this is like shitty wording, but you know what I mean. Basically, it was the first complex map Like most maps before this, besides Moon and Transit, I'd say were pretty basic. But this was the first map to really, exemplify a lot of the complexity that later Zombies maps would have. And that is a bit of a shame for me, because for me, I'm someone who actually prefers the older style, that it was a bit more simple. Why? Because I don't want to look up a bunch of fucking guides to figure out shit. And I'm a simple man like that. So I know some people love that sort of stuff, but to me, I'm not the biggest fan, though there are some maps that are like that I do appreciate. But unfortunately, Mob of the Dead does kind of go down as a result, for me at least, in that regard. So some people will disagree with me on that, but I digress. That being said, there actually is another part of the Mob of the Dead that not many people talk about. It's the cell block. It's your sort of grief sort of game mode area. Grief being an 8 PvP, like 8-player PvP sort of survival thing. It was whatever, though I'm glad that they added in PhD to it, but I wish it was in the actual game, though. Dude, that makes me mad. That freaking PhD flopper was not on any of these maps except for fucking Origins. Like, it's so stupid. I mean, okay, well, it was actually, it's technically on Buried too, but whatever. Anyways, moving on, speaking of Buried, I really love Buried. I don't think this map gets as much love. Okay, well, it's been getting a lot more love, in recent years, and I like that, because, this is another goated map. This map is so much fun. To me, this is, similar to Shinonuma, this is arguably one of the easiest maps in all of Zombies. And it's... part of the reason why is because a lot of the complexity in this map is just a lot of granted, a lot of gimmicky stuff, but a lot of gimmicky stuff that's fucking fun to do. There's so much shit that you can do in this map that's so much fun. You've got the Paralyzer, which is honestly one of the coolest wonder weapons in all of Zombies. Basically allows you to fly and do a bunch of stuff. Basically what the jet gun really wants to be. You got the Time Bomb, which will actually go take you back to a previous round, which I think is pretty cool. There's Vulture Aid, which is honestly the most underrated perk. I wish it was in Cold War, but rip. There's the bank system, which I know people complain about, but to me, it's more of an insurance policy thing, but I digress. There's the replaceable wall buys, so you can place wherever wall buys you want with the chalk. Leroy is cool. He's triple S tier there, dude. He's triple S. So yeah, no, he's pretty cool. Also, once again, I haven't really done the Easter egg on this map, though I have seen people play through it, and it looks fun as hell. Granted, I do want to make sure I go through the other ones before this, before Burieds, but still. And I don't know, there's just a lot of fun shit to do in the map. Just the only complaint I have is probably the witches, as you can see in that freaking picture right there, that freaking bitch. But other than her, but even then, she's really easy to deal with. All you gotta do is just get a ray gun Mark II, which, by the way, this is the map that introduced the Mark II. Keep that in mind. Goated weapon right there. Just use that, and then just fucking run. She gives you a free perk regardless, which that is really cool. So yeah, generally speaking, I love this map. This map is just awesome. So, you know what else is also awesome? Also awesome? Origins. Granted, I will just say this. I don't like playing this map solo. Ironically, okay, though I will get into that later. But dude, playing this on co-op, especially with a group of friends, is so much fun. Like, and also just I forgot to mention about Buried. I really love the theming. It's an underground western town in Angola. Who would have thought? Origins also has a really cool theme, being a steampunk World War One sort of apocalyptic, war setting, which I find really damn cool and pretty unique. Not many things go back to World War One. I gotta give them that. And even just doing a steampunk sort of thing too, that's pretty cool. It's diesel punk, steampunk. I'm not gonna fight you on that. Anyways, yeah, no, like to me, like Origins is definitely another really goated map. Why? Because to me, this map, the thing that this map does try to achieve, which is basically just trying to be like a mini campaign mission, it achieves superbly with that. Because this one, admittedly, it does kind of go away from the traditional zombies formula with it does have the same round based stuff, but it's more or less designed around the Easter egg itself. So, and that's something I can appreciate. Also, there's also a lot of shit you can do in this map because you've got the G strikes, you've got the staffs, you've got a bunch of exclusive weapons on this version of the game of the maps, like for example the Scar, the Scorpion, the Ballista, the Mauser, the M918 LMG. I know I messed that up. I don't care. The 1-inch punch, also what I call the One Punch Man. There's just a lot of cool shit in this map. Also, the Panzer, while he can be really annoying at times, he's actually a pretty decent boss. Not as good as Brutus, but he's all right. There's just a lot of cool shit in this map that you can do. That being said, I flip-flop on whether or not I like this map more than Buried because of just one thing that does really kill this map for me. You see that little building that's right next to that zombie? That's a generator. And that's how you power up the map. Which, that's whatever, it's a different way of getting power on so you can get all your perks and whatnot. But the problem with this is that sometimes some Templar zombies will just come in and just try to shut that shit down. That can really break the map for me, especially if you're playing solo. Like, that alone does make this map playing solo, like, low-key, kind of in the C tier, but it makes up for it for a lot of the other cool shit that's in the map. So, at the end of the day, Origins is a good map. And I will put it at S tier because I like it enough to where I can at least respect it and I can see where people are coming from. So, yay. That being said, though, okay, for now I'll put it above, but I don't think yeah, I'll leave it there for now. That being said, we're moving on to a non-Treyarch game, and we're going to move on to Extinction. So, I know some people are going to be like, oh, but that's not zombies. I know, but I'm only doing this because it would just be kind of awkward if I never talked about Extinction. So, that's why I'm talking about this. And I will just say this about Extinction. For those who don't know, this was in Call of Duty Ghosts. It was sort of their third game mode that they introduced. It is... Funny enough, it does feel more in line with either a campaign mission or even like something like a Left 4 Dead as opposed to, Treyarch zombies because of just the mission structure. And it's a bit weird. I know that sounds like a bit weird to describe it, but I don't really know what else to compare it to other than like I said, just a campaign mission or Left 4 Dead where you go from point A to point B as opposed to surviving as opposed to being a horde mode. So in terms of this though, I'm gonna rank it this. So, point of contact, Nightfall, Mayday, Awakening, and Exodus. Wait. Yes. Okay. So, point of contact was the map that was in the base game. And it is what it is. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna skim over Extinction because I don't really want to talk about it too much. All I'm just gonna say is Point of Contact and Mayday are pretty much the only like good maps I'd say, or the ones that I think are pretty cool. Meanwhile, Nightfall and Exodus, they're just kind of whatever. Though I don't think that Exodus is a horrible map like some people make it out to be. I just think it's all right. Same thing with Nightfall. Those fucking crabs are like those fucking crab monsters are annoying. And then Awakening's bad. I really love the look of the map. It's such a cool looking map. Being in like some sort of like a temple ruin sort of thing. For these like creatures, they're technically not even aliens, by the way. They're like earth creature things, similar to like SlytheWarriors from Doctor Who. But it might have a really cool theme, but goddamn, this map is a fucking bitch to go through. This is easily the worst in the game. So, but yeah, no, that's all I'm gonna say about Extinction. Like overall, I would probably just give the mode a C tier. It's inoffensive. It is a bit disappointing that they didn't follow it up in Infinite Warfare, though. I don't know why they couldn't have just done that. Instead, we got zombies, which, to be fair, there's some really good zombies maps in Infinite Warfare, but I don't know. It's really bizarre that they didn't follow it. Like, they didn't follow up Extinction properly. Properly being the key word. Anyways, so next up we've got Exos, and I'm not even gonna beat the bush. C, F, D. Also, hot take, F. So I will just say this right now. I think that out of all of the zombies experiences, Exo Zombies is my least favorite. The biggest problem with me actually, there's two big problems. Number one, I really hate using the exosuit. To me, it just does not feel like a proper zombie game. Like, I'm not even the biggest zombie game fan. And to me, even I have to think that using an exosuit just kind of breaks the immersion. Why? Because it makes it feel like you're a super soldier that's able to just wipe everything out. When in actuality, a zombie game should make you feel a little bit not completely hopeless, because obviously it's all about powering up your character to the point of maxing them out to try to take everyone out in a horde mode. But in the context of it being surrounded by a sort of zombies thing. To me, it just breaks that immersion just a little bit. And it doesn't help that Advanced Warfare's exo movement is just the fucking worst. It's trash. Also, this is the other big problem. Every single map has way too many zombie types. There's minimum 10 each map, and it's fucking absurd. Because you've got your normal zombie types, you've got your dogs, you've got zombies with exosuits. You've got EMP zombies, which are the fucking worst. There's exploding zombies. There's infected zombies. There's your mini bosses. There's your in-round enemy types. It gets fucking absurd on these goddamn maps. And it's infuriating. I hate it so much. That being said, in terms of the original Outbreak, which I know we'll talk about Cold War's Outbreak later, original Outbreak is fine. It's the best map in the game, but even then, to me, it's below average because of the problems that I have with Exo Zombies. I really hate the movement, and I really hate the fact that there's a lot of different enemy types. Though, if I were to play this map with a group of mine, I wouldn't mind too much because it's not a terrible map. The layout is pretty good, I'd say. It's not too big. But dude, what also just kills Exos is just the renaming of the different power-up drops, like double points to multiplier, or insta kill to hyper damage. Like that's not cool. Like I've explained that. I explained that in yesterday's Exo Zombie stream, where it's like, if you try to rename something, like, dude, it, like, just keep the name insta kill. Like, no one's gonna fucking complain. Like, I didn't fucking care. But whatever. Like, to me, that shit reminded me of back in the 90s and 2000s, whenever a bunch of, like, you know, corporations thought it was a good idea to have a bunch of misspellings of a bunch of stupid shit because it was cool and hip and edgy. And that's the sort of same vibe I got from this, and I fucking hated it. So, but whatever. Like I said, the map does play fine. Like, Outbreak plays fine. I think it was definitely designed for Exos, and for me, that's something that I can appreciate. Can't say that much for Infection. That map is dog shit. Like, literally locking you... Dude, the fact that this map locks you underneath in a sewer section for the remainder of the game after 30 fucking rounds is fucking insulting. Like, at that point, you're just making me... Like, at that point, I feel like I've just been ripped off. Especially since the sewer system is so fucked, because, like, it's such a close quarters area in that part of the map. Also, I really hate the theming. I'm just going to be quite frank with y'all, but anything involving Burger Town, I think is fucking cringe. I really just hate that sort of, like, retro style of, like, food chain stuff. And this is no exception. I fucking hate that sort of stuff. And the fact that it takes center stage in this map is just, it drives me up. I hate it. It doesn't help the fact that, like, the Goliath is one of the most annoying fucking, like, you know, mini bosses of all of zombies, because he soaks up so much damage, and it's really absurd. So, also, this just goes for all of Exos. The crew is just completely forgettable, except for Oz, but that's only because of a stupid line that he says about how much he fucking hates the Atlas Corporation. It's bad. It's really bad. Just don't bother with this map. This is literally one of the worst maps in all of Zombies. Like, I'm not even, like, you know, making a joke. This map is ass. It's bad. That being said, we've got Carrier. I really don't like Carrier either. Dude, this map... Okay, to be fair, it's a little bit... Oh, shit. It's a little bit better because, like, in terms... Okay, I already mentioned this a little bit earlier, but there is this round called Infected Rounds, where basically infected zombies will come in, and if they touch you, they will give you, like, a poisoning effect. And you have to get to a decontamination zone before that timer runs out. It's not as bad in this map because there are 2 locations for that. Because this is a little bit of a bigger map. And because of that, I can at least appreciate them, you know, improving the fucking atrocity that was Infection in that regard. But the problem with this map is just the layout of this map is just awful. Like, this layout is just, it just does not flow well, especially with the Exos movement. Like, it's really bad. Also, what really does kill this map, for me is the fact that every like 5 rounds, or like I don't remember the amount, but like every like it's like every like several rounds, a group of like sentinel guys basically from the campaign will just jump in and plant a bomb on the in the map, and you have to disable it, otherwise you fucking lose. That really kills the momentum for me on this map, and it really does give me pain every time I have to deal with that. Granted, I will get, at least they are adding in, humans into, like, more like human NPCs into zombies, because that's just something that I just wish was just in more zombies maps, if I'm going to be honest. But the way that they did it is just so fucking annoying. So, also, the teleporting zombies are the worst in this map. Don't think I wouldn't mention them, because those things are annoying. So, yeah, no, overall, I really don't like Carrier. This map is just not it. Though, to be fair, I would play it over Moon in Transit. So, like, that's not even a shadow of a doubt in my mind. Though we get Descent, and honestly, okay, as of right now, it is on the top of my F tier, but it's still an F tier map, dude. This map is just, I don't get why people love this map. Like, what the fuck? Sorry. So, here's another complaint about Exo Zombies. All the maps look the same. Like, all these maps take place in some sort of a facility, and all the facilities just have that same, like, white texture. Like, grayish white texture. For all the, like, the different walls and shit. And this is no exception. Though, to be fair, it's a little bit more creative. It's an underwater hotel resort or whatever, but even then, once again, the layout is just dog shit in this map. Like, it's a really tight map too. Also, the fact that, like, I think every like 10 rounds, you get teleported between the actual map itself and wherever the infected Oz is. That really annoys the hell out of me. Like, I want to play the damn map. I don't want to deal with the Easter egg or any of that bullshit. I don't want to deal with boss fight bullshit, okay? I don't want to deal with a boss fight, okay? I just want to play the fucking map. Not like I really want to with this game anyway, or this map anyways, because once again, it's way too close quarters. The Wonder Weapon fucking sucks. Jug is on the other side of the goddamn map, and it's just absurd to try to get to. They resorted back to just having one decontamination zone, which is insulting. And just, it's just not a vibe. Like, this map sucks. That's all I gotta say. This map is bad. But I digress, because guess what? We're going into Black Ops 3, and thank God for it too, because I have really grown on most of Black Ops 3. So, how would I rank Black Ops 3? Well, if I'm going to be honest, especially with the most recent streams, I'm not going to lie. Shadows, S. The Giant, I'll put this one at A. Dead Ops, I'll put it at B. Dreisendrach, S. Zetsubo, C. Grodkrovi, A. And Revelations, B. So, I have really grown on Shadows of Evil. Like, I really do dig this map. Like, I remember really not caring for this map as much because it was the base map in the game. Which, in hindsight, they really shouldn't have made it that. Because, like, I feel like this map, they made this map inadvertently, I feel like, made a lot of like casual players just not want to play zombies. Cause like, yeah, no, this is a really complex map. Cause like the way that you have to get the Pack-a-Punch, the Easter egg, trying to get the Apothecon Servant and the sword and all that fun stuff. But I will just say this right now. This is probably the map that Treyarch has given the most love to. Like, I do agree with whenever people say that, because dude, there's so much stuff that you can do on the map. Like I said, with all the Easter egg stuff, the little Arnies, the unique weapons to the map, such as the bootlegger and the bloodhound pistol. The way the transforming into like the beast to turn on power, which I find way less annoying than I did with Mob of the Dead personally. And also just having a really cool vibe. Dude, this map, I really do dig. It's like, 1940s aesthetic, because this map really gives me BioShock vibes. And that's so, like, it gives me, like, Rapture vibes. And I really do dig that. And also that, like, Cthulhu, maybe even, like underlying Warhammer 40k sort of like inspired look of the Apothecons are so cool. Yes, I really just said Warhammer 40k, dude. Margwas look like freaking Chaos Spawn. Fight me on that one. Anyways, and which, speaking of the Margwa, okay, well, the Margwa can be fucking annoying because he can one shot you even with Jug, but other than that, like, it's a cool boss, like a cool mini boss. Also the parasites are cool. The insanity elementals are annoying, but we ignore those. So yeah, no, generally speaking, like, it's just a fun map. Like, I can't believe I just completely just changed my mind on this map. I didn't hate this map, but I never really cared for it. Now I love it. And I gotta give credit where credit is due when it comes to what Treyarch was able to craft with this map at the end of the day. So it's pretty good. Like, if you're iffy with Black Ops 3 and you don't really have a lot of, money to get Chronicles or something, replay this map. It's worth it. Like, it's actually, like, especially if you're able to play this map on co-op, which is just triple S tier with that. So, yeah, no, it's a good map. And then we get the Giant, which I will just say this. The Giant, I think it's just a gimped version of Doris, which I'm just going to say this right now. This also goes with most of the Chronicles maps. To me, I just prefer the most of the original versions of a lot of these maps. And when it comes to the Giant, that's no exception. It mostly just has to do with the weapons themselves, because I'm beating a dead horse with this, but I really do not like Black Ops 3 weapons at all. I think they all just look like giant, gray toys and less like, actual guns, which is just something that I never really cared for. Sorry, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, also the oh my god, what was the changing of the freaking Easter egg song from like the new metal riffing Korn Slipknot style of Beauty of Annihilation to a shitty remix of that song. Absolute insult. Though I'm at least somewhat glad that it does exist, because it is basically just a remaster of Doris at the end of the day. Like, I know some people do call it a remake, but it's really just a remaster, but just with a different story. But I digress. But long story short, though, it's probably my least favorite version of Doris. I just prefer the original and Black Ops 1's version. But that's just me. Some people disagree with me on that, but it is what it is. Then we've got Dead Ops Arcade 2, which, I mean, it's cool and all. I just think it's good, but it's not quite as good as the original. I just don't like the changing of pace, quote unquote, with like the races and shit. Like, to me, that's a bit questionable. I get why they did it, but it's whatever. Excuse me. There's nothing else I gotta really say. Although I do like how you are able to get into first person. That's pretty cool. So, but regardless, that's Dead Ops 2. Just it's a thing. Then we've got Horizon Drac, which is another S tier map. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna put it right above Origins, but below Ascension, because to me, this is a top 5 map. And to me, this is a good map. This is, for me at least, this is a map that really is a good fusion of the old school and the new school done right. What do I mean by that? So, you could technically play this map like any pre-Mob of the Dead map if you really wanted to, because of just how the layout of the map is, how Pack-a-Punch works, all that fun stuff. Or you could technically also play like any other Black Ops 3 map, because of the Easter egg and the Wrath of the Ancients, which you can also, similar to the staffs from Origins. You can actually make them into you can make the Wrath of the Ancients into any elemental bow, and then upgrade those. And then you can build a shield and all that sort of stuff. And that's just something that, to me is a huge testament to the map. And that's why I really do dig this map, is because it offers so much that you can do that for me, I don't know. Like I said, it's definitely just the perfect balance of being able to really just play the map however you want. And that's something that I gotta give credit where credit is due with this map at the end of the day. So yeah. With that in mind, though, I'd say the only real annoyance is exactly where you can get to Pack-a-Punch. Setting up Pack-a-Punch is easy as hell. All you got to do is just, press square or E or whatever, like in one of the 3 spots that it could spawn, and then it will start building it up. And then the last spot that it spawns, it will just automatically build it there, right? And it will just go in between, like each area. It's a small annoyance, but at the end of the day, it's just a minor inconvenience in an otherwise amazing map. Like, there's a reason why this was one of the most viewed maps for zombies. Like, it's such a good and just solid experience that I wish was the damn fucking, release map, but I digress. But I don't know. Although some people would complain about the Panzer, but the Panzer is actually way better in this map because he doesn't have the stupid flamethrower. Well, no, he does have the flamethrower, but it doesn't have the claw. He has the electric grenade launcher thing. But either way, it's a good map. Unfortunately, the one map in Black Ops 3 that I still have not really grown on at all is Setsubo. I'm sorry. Some people really do like this map. And to be fair, while it's not like the worst map in the world anymore, because, dude, this map, like, I'm just going to be flat out, like, at launch, this map was F tier. Like, this map was really buggy when it came out. And thankfully, it has been ironed out. It's, like, all the patches have been applied and all that fun stuff. But what really does gimp this map for me is just the layout is just the layout I really do not like. The fact that you have to be in the fucking bunker is just insulting to me. Especially since that shit was not even really seen in any of the trailers. So, and that to me is not necessarily false advertisement, but I just really did not care. Like, I just hated going through that area, especially when you're trying to turn on power and shit, like, permanently. No, thank you. Also, the spiders were really annoying. The thrashers are the fucking worst. And setting up the Masamune or the KT2 or whatever. No dice. No. That ain't cool, dude. Though that being said, I mean, the Skull of Namsapwe is pretty cool. Also, the outside areas are pretty cool. The theming is pretty cool. You know, being like another Japanese research facility on an island. Yes, I know that sounds similar to Shinonuma, but you know, it is cool in that regard. And the seed system is okay. I don't know. If you play the map, it's not that bad. It's just the things that are frustrating can get really frustrating. And that's why I don't really care for this map as much as some people might now. So that's just kind of how I feel. That being said, though, Garad Krovi, oh my god, Garad Krovi is an interesting one. So, although I think, I'm gonna put it between Mob and Shang. Actually, I actually do enjoy Garad Krovi. Though I will just say this about the map: it's a deeply flawed map. What do I mean by that? Well, Valkyrie drones are annoying. It takes forever to get Pack Punch set up, similar to Mob of the Dead. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing to try to traverse the map. And the Graph modules, while not terrible, can be a bitch to really go through. I'm sorry if Mr. T-Lex, if I ever sees this video, he's gonna crucify me, but I don't care. But those are the only bad things about the map, though. Like, the Russian Manglers are cool. The layout, like, yes, it can get confusing in the back area, but the front area is cool. The defense area in Pack-a-Punch, I think, is pretty cool. A lot of the weapons that are in this map are pretty cool as well, like just the FFAR, the Mark III, the return of the PP. The PP returns in this map, and that's great. That alone makes it worth it. Also, really exemplifying challenges on this map. Yeah, I know they were in Origins and Zetsubo before, but I feel like in this map it was definitely a bit more fair. And also, though I haven't played any of the Easter eggs except for Call of the Dead and a few others. The boss fights for this game, like for this map, looks so fucking cool. Yeah, you fighting a giant dragon and Nikolai. It wounds me, man. It wounds me. It wounds me every time I hear about that. So, also having a really cool cutscene. And I don't know, just generally speaking, it's just such a cool map. As flawed as it is, I can see why people like it. It just sucks that no one plays it on pubs anymore, and that's just lame. That being said, I think the last thing I will mention with this is that it is a little bit lame as well that Dr. Monty was introduced in this map. Kinda, but I digress. Though Malcolm McDowell is pretty cool. But alright. Final map is Revelations, which I think I'm just going to be putting right above Kino. Just right above Kino. I'd say Whereas I think Kino is probably the most basic map in all of Zombies, like probably the most average map. Revelations, I'd say, is like that plus a little bit, meaning it's a really good layout for a map. It's a really cool concept for a map, sort of combining a bunch of previous maps that we've played before and just trying to, hodgepodge combine them into one. Though I wish it had every single map from before in here, but I digress. And also, like I said, the layout's pretty good. The theming is pretty good. Obviously, the crew, which I forgot to talk about, Premise, they've been in all the Black Ops 3 maps minus SOE, and they've been in Origins. They have some pretty cool lines. Once again, going back to the Apothecans and, just their whole thing, I think they still look pretty cool with the Margwa and the Furies and all that fun stuff. Parasites. My biggest problem with the map, though, is that it didn't feel like there was much that was new that was brought to the table. And that's, like, what do I mean by that? So, Furies are a new enemy type, but they're basically just reskinned Nova 6 crawlers, except they don't, explode when they die, whatever. I mean, they have the Rift E9 in the box. I think that's it, though, because the shield, that was in GK. The Keeper Guardian, that's just a reskin of the Civil Protector from Shadows. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that this map really brought new to the table, and that is just my biggest issue, is that it doesn't feel like, granted, I know it's like, oh, well, that makes sense, because it's literally every single map combined. Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't, bring, a new wonder weapon or something into here. That to me is just probably my biggest issue, is that it just feels, at the end of the day, it just feels like an average map. Though the story is kind of cool, even if the ending cutscene is a bit of a cop-out, but I digress. But I don't know, I don't know how to really describe it. It just feels like an average map. Though, like I said, I do like it more than Kino. That's a pretty important fact, even though, yes, it does have Kino in the map. I know, hardy har har. You can meme about that all you want, but whatever. So, yeah, that's all I gotta say. It feels average. So, that being said, let's talk about the Chronicles maps, because quite frankly, while I played these a lot on Black Ops 3, I probably played these more so than, the base maps, I just have to be real with y'all on some of these. So, Nocturne Toten, Black Ops 3, C. Baruch, Black Ops 3, D. Shinonuma, C. Kino, C. Ascension, F. Shangri-La, C. Moon, though, B. And then Origins, also, I'd say S. I know, that's all over the place. So, why did I rank most of Chronicles badly? It's because I think that, like I said with the Giant, these are just gimped versions of these respective maps. I'm not really going to go too much in depth with Shinonuma, Kino, or Shangri-La, but I'm just going to say this. It's because, the reason why I do think that they are gimped versions of their respective maps is because of the introduction of Gobblegums and the removal of certain perks and just certain features that really make me not enjoy them as much as I did the original maps. So, for example, Ascension. I like Black Ops 1 Ascension. Like, I love that map. You know, PhD, the sickle, the Triska dolls, the Gersh device, all that fun stuff, right? And, well, yes, it's an easy map. It's not, like, really all that annoying to me. But Ascension on Black Ops 3, I refuse to touch that map, if I'm just going to be honest with y'all. And it's for several reasons. Number one, I'm still pissed off that Black Ops 3 did not have PhD flopper. I know technically because of the mechanics, they probably wouldn't have been able to implement it anyways. Because instead of doing the dolphin dive, they have the sliding. Which, whatever. At that point, it's like, fine. But then, with like, I think it's 5 of these maps. Like 4 or 5 of these. Yeah, Noct, Verrückt, Shinonuma, Kino, and Ascension. They add in the Wonder Fizz to the map. Meaning, you can pretty much bring up as, like, most of the perks that you want into the game through that. Which, you know, kind of breaks the balance a little bit because Ascension was not designed to have Deadshot and Double Tap in the map. Yet, guess what? You can just get those 2 fucking perks through the Wonder Fizz. And also, because the monkeys are on the map still, because guess what? Those fuckers are still on the map. If you activate a Perkaholic, which for those who don't know, it's a gobble gum that allows you to instantly get all the perks, you just fucked yourself over. Like, meaning that, like, the monkeys on this map will just take your perks away, and you will not get them back. Meaning, if you spent, tens of hundreds of hours trying to get as many, Perkaholics as you want, guess what? You just wasted yours. And to me, that is pretty insulting and just bad design. So yeah, no, this version of Ascension low-key fucking sucks. And in my opinion, is probably the worst offender out of all the remasters in Black Ops 3. Like, I don't think I played Black Ops 3 Ascension in at least a good 3 years. Maybe even like 4 years. I never played this version of Ascension. So, now as for Verrückt, it's a similar situation where that map was not designed for all those perks in mind. And because of that, it completely fucks up the balance. Because Verrückt was meant to be an extremely challenging map. And actually, you know what? Now I think about it, I'm going to put Noct on that same tier. Just thinking about it. Yeah, no, Noct and Verrückt were not designed to have those many perks in mind. Hell, Noct only had 1 perk in Black Ops 1, and that was Mule Kick. And just as a result, it just makes the maps all that more boring. And some people will definitely disagree with me on that. But dude, I don't want to have to deal with, like, on co-op, I don't want to have to deal with people constantly spamming Immolation Liquidation or Idle Eyes or some fucking perk like that on Verrückt and just completely making the map just way too goddamn easy. Like, I want to have a little bit of a challenge. Yes, I like to have things a little bit easier overall, but I want to challenge myself at some fucking point, Like, and to me, Noct and Verrückt on Black Ops 3 are just a complete insult to, the originals from World at War and Black Ops 1. Hell, why do we even need those 2 maps in freaking Chronicles? Because, like, they were literally in freaking Revelations. Like, all of Noct was in Revelations, and half of Verrückt was in there, too. It's like, God. So, yeah, no. To me, Ascension, Noct, and Verrückt in Chronicles, I would put Shinonuma in D tier as well, But I mentioned this in the stream that I did recently, where it makes up for it with how beautiful the map looks. Like, it's such a really beautiful looking map. Although it does sort of change the vibe of the map, because Shinonuma in World at War and Black Ops 1 looks really dingy and, like, low-key kind of creepy. And they just completely changed the vibe with Shinonuma on Black Ops 3 because of just, just the complete overhaul. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like what it was. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I feel about Shinonuma. As for Kino and Shangri-La, ironically, even though I complained about what Kino looked like, I really don't like the red look that they went with in BO3. Like, it looks too clean. Like, granted, I think that Kino in Black Ops 1 looks way too gray, but Kino on Black Ops 3 looks way too red. Like, I don't like what they did with that map. So, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like Kino. I don't know. But as for Shang, they completely removed PhD, which that alone just... Also, am I the only one who thinks this? Like, I might be the only one who thinks this, but Shangri-La does not look all that... It does not look as good as it did back in Black Ops 1. Like, it just looks... Like, just looking back at it, like, Black Ops 3's is just way too bright, I feel like. It's way too shiny. And to me, like, just going into Black Ops 1's Shang, like, I think the shading on that map was perfect. Like, the lighting on that map, I think, really did give that map justice. And I just feel like Black Ops 3 Shang just looks kind of ugly in comparison. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to describe without, showing gameplay. I will definitely try to make that comparison at some point, but I don't know. I don't think that Shang is as good as it was in Black Ops 1, especially since I just recently played Shang in Black Ops 1 for the first time, and I had way more fun than I did on Black Ops 3. And that's saying quite a bit, because I did think that Shang on BO3 was pretty good, but I've since changed my mind. But whatever. Then we got Moon on BO3. This, to me, along with Origins on BO3, I think is what is what saves Chronicles. Because Moon on BO3 is so much... Okay, actually, I don't think I'm going to put it at B. I think I'm still going to put it at C, but it is going to be higher than all these. So, the problem with the perks are alleviated on this map, thanks to Perkaholics and all that stuff. Also, I didn't say this about the original Moon, but the original, like, BO1 Moon looked so drab and just ugly to look at. And they fixed that with this version of Moon. This version of Moon looks way better to look at and all that fun stuff. Like, I would definitely prefer playing BO3 Moon over BO1 Moon. Even though the QED, which is a thing I forgot to mention, is a little bit compromised in BO3, it's whatever. So, though the excavators are still trash, and the astronaut is still really annoying. And actually, I think he's actually worse in Black Ops 3, because he definitely moves faster in Black Ops 3 than Black Ops 1, though, whatever. It is definitely the top of C for me, though. Like, to me, BO3 Moon improved just a bit. Like, it has improved enough to where I can play the map. Now, as for Origins, actually, I'm going to put this lower, actually. It's still a good version of Origins. I just wish they would have brought back all of the weapons that were previously in Origins. And I just wish that I don't know. That's just my only complaint. is that it doesn't have the same. It doesn't have the same weaponry that I personally liked about the original Origins. Also, the mud is way worse in this version, though. Like I said, it's still S tier. But all right. Next up, we've got Infinite Warfare. So this might be another hot take, but this is a huge hot take, but I think most people will agree with me on these two. So, yes, I put Spaceland at D tier. I know. Some of y'all are probably trying to cancel me now at this point. I'll explain why. I am just done with Spaceland. So, number one. Okay, by the way, I'll just say this about Infinite Warfare Zombies. Generally speaking, I don't really care for the crew in this game, because it's the same crew for all the maps. And well, not a terrible premise for, just an entire mode. Just the story is kind of stupid, but whatever. It was originally supposed to be a parody. It was originally a self-parody of Call of Duty Zombies. So at the end of the day, I'm not complaining about that too much. Though, I'm just going to say this. Spaceland, the reason why I put it low is just because it actually is because of like a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm just burnt out on the map. For the longest time, this was the only Infinite Warfare map that I had, and I just really I just could not care for it much, if I'm gonna be honest. After playing it a lot. Also, the weapons just don't feel all that great to use compared to Black Ops 3. And I already complained about Black Ops 3's weapons looking pretty bad. I think Infinite Warfare's weapons look better, but play worse. Also, while not terrible, Pack-a-Punch can be eh. The Brute enemy, no, he was really annoying. I fucking hated the clowns. I hate clowns. Like, it's not a fear, it's just I want to punch them. That's the feeling I get. And seeing a bunch of clowns be the special round enemy is just insufferable. Also, I've expressed this before. I even expressed this yesterday. And I'm beating a dead horse with this, but I'm just going to say this right now. Out of all the maps in Zombies, this is probably one of my least favorite themed maps. Like, the theme park part I really like. Like that aspect, I do thoroughly enjoy. Like, that's not really something that I'm complaining about. What I am complaining about is the 80s aesthetic. Like, I fucking hate the 80s aesthetic. Like, to me, I'm just sick and tired of everyone just talking about the fucking 80s in either TV shows and music and movies. Although, I will admit, I do like movies from that decade. But, like, just the forced nostalgia of the 1980s in general, I'm just so fucking tired of. Like, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, you can relate too. Because, like, things like Guardian of the Galaxy, It Chapter 1, American Horror Story, a bunch of these, like, neo-thrash and glam rock bands, and a bunch of, like, different parties that been going on. Like, I'm just so fucking tired of it. Like, shut the fuck up about the fucking 80s. No one cares anymore. Like, seriously, stop. I'm tired of this forced nostalgia down my fucking throat. And unfortunately, this is a map that's a result of that. And it's insufferable for me. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love this map, but I don't enjoy this map because of that. That being said, would I play this map over the rest of D tier? Yes, because the layout is pretty good. And the story's alright. Though the fucking boss, from what I can tell, is awful. Yeah, no. So yeah, no, this is not the best map in Infinite Warfare. Though, as controversial as it is, I think Raven the Redwoods is the best map in the game. So, first of all, I like the theming way better than Spaceland. I mean, being in the 1990s alone makes it so much better because you know me, I like the 90s. I have so many things from the 90s that I grew up with and, you know, a bunch of CDs. Dude, I had bought a fucking Super Nintendo and a PlayStation Classic because I like a lot of the stuff from that. Like, dude, come on. Like, obviously, I would really enjoy that theming. Excuse me. Even more so than that, though, the layout of the map is also pretty damn good, I'd say. Like, probably even more so than a lot of these other maps. Though, I think... Yeah. I'll put it above there. For now, anyways. Don't worry, I'll change things around. But... And also, I think the way you get to Pack-a-Punch and you get to Power is way better in this map. I like the vibe, though I wish it wasn't slasher themed because I feel like that would have worked way better for the 80s because, I mean, slasher movies were way more popular that decade, but I digress. And I wish it had a better soundtrack instead of a bunch of... I wish there was a bunch of grunge and nu metal in this. Like, I don't know why they didn't do that, but whatever. So, yeah. And then, what else was really good about this map? Also, the fact that you don't have to encounter the slasher, like, who's your roaming boss. The fact that you can't... Like, you don't have to encounter him if you don't want to. Like, he's one of the few controllable... enemy types in zombies. That is something that I can appreciate because, like, at the end of the day, you can't really do that with a lot of bosses. And the fact that you can do that with him, thank you, Infinity Ward. I swear to God. Granted, he can be annoying because just like with the Margwa, he can one-shot you even with Jug. But outside of that, you know, like I said, you can control it. What else? I mean, I don't know. It's just, I just had fun with this map, just way more than like any other map in Infinite Warfare. Which I know that might sound weird because it's just weird too. Because like a lot of people. They don't shit on this map, but I feel like a lot of people just don't really care for this map. But it's like, dude, it's so much better than every other map in Infinite Warfare. Hell, I can make a good case that, like, this is easily in the top 20 zombies maps. Like, maybe even top 15. Like, I can make a good case that it's that good. So, but, like I said, I think just... The reasons why I don't put it at S is because, well, the slasher can fucking suck if you're not careful. Also, I wish that they would have had a better soundtrack, especially for the 90s. Like, dude, why didn't you actually... Okay, maybe not grunge, that's a bit understandable, but, like, fucking Korn or, like, Smashing Pumpkins or something like that. Like... That would have been so much cooler to have on here, but I digress. That being said, I'm going to get fucking roasted for this next map. Oh no. But remember me talking about maps that I think are a bit overhated? Yeah, Shaolin's overhated. I know. Yeah, there's probably people right now who are mad at me about that, but... I'm just going to say this right now about Shaolin. Number one, the theming's cool. Second of all, the layout is actually pretty damn good, even though Jug's fucking annoying and getting Pack-a-Punch can be annoying. Also, the single best part of this map is the martial arts mechanic. where I know it's another elemental weapon. I know people are tired of that, but what I really like the these like martial arts. I think they're like a grenade. I think they're a special grenade type, if I'm not mistaken, or they're counted as that. They basically, yeah, there's like 4 different types, and you can rank them up to become like a martial arts master for that specific element. And to me, it's a really good way to not only have, whatever specific type of, elemental, thing you want, but also the fact that you're able to do challenges corresponding to each of these, I think works in its favor. Also, I didn't mention this earlier, but if there's one thing that Infinite Warfare does really good is definitely the different traps, which I forgot to mention about that. Traps being like, things that you can kill zombies with without having to, shoot a gun or whatever. And the amount of traps that are in this game are so creative. And I think this map probably has some of the best, even though the flogger is in friggin' Raven the Redwoods and Shinonuma, but I digress on that one. But yeah, no, generally speaking though I think a lot of I think what most people do hate about this map is probably the Easter egg, which, I mean, from what I've seen, yeah, it does look pretty bad. Also, I do have to confess, while the rolling divas aren't really all that bad, the ninja zombies are fucking annoying, which is why this map is at B instead of like S or A. So yeah, no, generally speaking, I know I'm going to get roasted for this one, but it's really not that bad of a map. I think people just hate it because of just how bad the Easter egg can be. But if you actually play the map like any other normal map, it's actually pretty fun. But whatever. I'm not going to say any more because I know people are probably mad at me. Let's move on to maps that we can all agree suck. Attack of the Radioactive Thing and Beasts from Beyond are fucking terrible. I'm just going to say that right now. They are dog shit. Dude, the fact that there are still glitches on Attack of the Radioactive Thing where you're able to get outside of the fucking map is just flat out insulting. Like, that is just, especially for a game this late in the franchise. Also, the fact that there are just so many ugly and just outright missing textures is also just completely inexcusable for this game. Like, yesterday I was looking at the giant, like the boss of the map, like not the mini boss, but like the actual boss, and he was literally like he was just one giant blurry texture. Like, especially on his underbelly, it looked really bad. It was absolute dog shit. Like, it was horrible. Not to mention, it doesn't help the fact that I fucking hate the theming of the map. Like, similar to Spaceland, and well, I guess really just any other map in this game. It's based off a decade. Shallon's based off the 70s, Rave's based off the 90s, Spaceland's based off the 80s. This map's based off the 50s, and I fucking hate the 50s. So now you're probably wondering, oh, then why don't you freaking lower transit then? You aren't around like the 50s feel, like 50s, 60s feel of transit all that much. But with this map, yeah, no, it's stuck with you. Like, it's, I hate it. Also, the zombies look pretty bad too. Granted, I guess you can make the argument it's supposed to look like, old, like really old footage of like, old actors dressed up as zombies, but it doesn't make it a good excuse. They still look bad. Also, these fuckers that are on the picture, no, they're fucking bullshit. They're basically like little mini Margwas where they spawn in their own special round, but they can two-shot you even with Jug. And that's stupid! What the fuck? Like, that's bad. So yeah, no, this map is F tier. This map's bad. As for Beasts from Beyond, though, this map from the get-go is absolute dog shit. Basically, this is the map that does bring back Extinction, or at least in the sense that it does bring back the smaller hunter enemy types that you saw in Extinction, even though they're really badly textured for whatever reason, despite being a game from 3 years afterwards from freaking Ghosts, but I digress. So yeah, really, these things spawn constantly until you turn on the power, which is just no. Like that's really bad. Also, the fact that like half the map is between the actual movie itself and the real world, basically in a Diet Kuna der Toten theater. No. Also, having the special rounds after like round 5 basically be a bunch of clown and ninja zombies. No. That ain't it, Chief. That's not it. So yeah, no. And also I heard Easter eggs in several, which I don't even want to get into that, can of worms. So yeah, no, these maps are bad. Both these maps are dog shit. Granted, I don't know which one's worse. Okay, I think I actually was more insulted with this one because of just how bad the map is in terms of the glitches and like the missing textures. That to me is just absolutely unacceptable. So, whereas Beast from Beyond is just bullshittingly hard, but it still works. Attack of the Radioactive Thing barely works. Like it's holding on by a thread, and to me, that's more insulting. So, yeah. All right. That being said, I think I'm gonna move up. All right. There we go. All right. So yeah, no, that. Unfortunately, yeah, Infinite Warfare took a big nosedive after Shaolin, in my opinion. Some people say after Spaceland. I say after Shaolin, because, yeah, no, some of these maps are absolute dog shit. All right, World War II. So, here's another hot take. Not like there's been, not like that hasn't been a thing. World War II is not as bad as people make it out to be as a whole. To me, it's more or less just all over the place in terms of quality. So, what do I mean by that? Final Reich. A. Grossenhaus. A. Darkest Shore. C. Shattered Throne. Sorry. B. Tortured Path. F. Bodega. C. Mount Olympus, C. Altar of Blood, D. And Frozen Dawn, D. So, these were the last maps that I played last night. So, I'm not gonna make it too brief with these, though. I'm just gonna say this right now. I do think that Final Reich and Grossenhaus are probably the best maps in World War II. Which is kind of weird because they are the base game. Like, they are the base maps. So, Final Reich, it's a pretty good setup, for what should have been really good to come forward and see. Very good layout. Well, yes, there's quite a few enemy types. It is not nearly as annoying as previous. Sorry, yeah, like it's not as annoying as Exos. What else is there? Oh yeah, having like a solvable Easter egg for casual players, I think that was actually pretty ingenious. Being able to teach people how to do Easter eggs and all that stuff. Which, because of that, I actually finished it. I think I've streamed it multiple times and finished it on there. So, which, that being said, boss fight, actually pretty good in that regard. Really creepy looking boss. Really cool atmosphere, really good weapons, all that fun stuff. I think what really does hinder this map for me, though, are probably, I'd say the Brenners are kind of annoying, though they're not the worst things in the world, to be honest. And also, the Wonder Weapon kind of sucks. Like, it low-key does suck. But other than that, it's a quality map. I think it's pretty good, personally. So, and also what's pretty good is Grossenhaus. Quite frankly, it's just a small survival map, Noct style. It's actually the smallest map in all zombies. And, because of that, it's nicely, deeply compact, but that's why I like it. It offers a good challenge without having to compromise, the fun factor, if that makes sense. Granted, I will just say this: they shouldn't have had whistlings, in every single map. That's one of the complaints I have about the game in general, is that they reused every single enemy in the game for each map, except for like a couple, and that just got really annoying. So, but even then, they're not even that hard to deal with. They're just annoying to see because they're just a bullet sponge. But regardless, though, low key though, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm tempted to put this map at S because I really do like Grossenhaus, but to be fair, I'll just put it at A for now because I feel like that would be a bit unreasonable. But I digress in that regard. Then we unfortunately take a bit of a dive in quality with the Darkest Shore, which, I mean, is it the worst map in the world? No. I'd say it's actually probably around the same size as Shangri-La. And I mean, it's actually quite similar to Shangri-La. That has minecart. It's kind of in the middle of a mountain as the map. And I mean, the Wonder Weapon's cool. It's just it's a blade saw. Though, unlike Call of the Dead's fog, the fog in this map is really annoying. Oh my god, this fog is just bad. Basically, in this game, the fog, it's similar to Call of the Dead. Every 3 or so rounds, the fog will a fog will come in and basically just kind of blur the map. Problem is that you can literally only see 2 feet in front of you, which is oh no. So, that being said, it sometimes it will get you in a jump scare that's really perfectly timed, like what happened yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty great. But just for practical play though, it's not that enjoyable to go through. I don't know. It's just not. Also, it's just not really the best layout for a map. Even though it's similar to Shangri-La in a bunch of ways, it just does not it just doesn't flow as nice, it just doesn't feel as nice as what would excuse me. It just doesn't flow as nice as Shang does. So that's why it's not as good, generally speaking. I don't think it's a terrible map. I don't think it's dog shit. It's just, I don't hate it. It's just average feeling at the end of the day because of those gimped features. Though, like I said, I do really like the designs of those spider zombie enemy types. Now, as for the Shattered Throne, it's actually pretty decent, I'd say. As a matter of fact, actually, I'm going to put it above. Actually, would I play this? I'm going to put it next to Kino, actually. It's actually a really good layout for a map. Yeah, it's kind of small, but at the end of the day, I think what really does make this a quality map is the fact that it is, yeah, it's a bit small, but there's a lot of open space for you to be able to train and all that sort of stuff. And that's something that I have to at least appreciate about this map. And also, being able to see like more NPC characters just coming around is kind of cool. Also being in, Berlin again after, 8 years since a other zombies map has been on Berlin, Kino. Being able to see Berlin again in a zombies map is kind of cool. And also, I don't know. It's just, like I said, to me, I think I might be a little bit biased because, like I said earlier, I prefer smaller and more simple maps. And to me, the Shattered Throne is just sort of in that same category. So that being said, I would definitely play pretty much any World at War map over it. Like, there's no way you're going to convince me that World at War is worse than World War II's Shattered Throne. That's just not going to happen. But I don't know. It's not bad. Unfortunately, though, with the power of hindsight, man, I can't believe I did not realize this until yesterday, but the Tortured Path is literally the worst zombies experience, like, in all of Call of Duty. Like, I have to be, frank and honest with you. Even though I like World War II as a game, I am not a World War II hater by any stretch of the imagination. I really like multiplayer, and the campaign was okay at best. And you already just talked about some really good things about zombies. I have to say that what they did with the Tortured Path is completely insulting to anyone who's a fan of zombies. The fact that you have to unlock all the individual sub-maps through a bullshit trial system individually is fucking absurd. Like, to me, that is just a slap to the face. Like, why didn't they just make another regular fucking map? Like, I don't get that. Like, dude. Also, the fact that you have to have your timing perfect on certain challenges is the thing that makes it even fucking worse. Because, dude, you saw my fucking stream. Like, anyone who saw my stream yesterday knows I killed every goddamn enemy on round fucking 8 and it didn't count. And it made me have to reset the fucking map. It's such bullshit. And quite frankly, guess what? Sledgehammer, as a result of this map, they paid the price. Like, no one gave a shit about World War II zombies as a result. And unfortunately, the quality of the zombies in that game did take a bit of a nosedive. Because quite frankly, it is just a little bit insufferable. Like, it's just not insufferable. It's just, it's quite insulting to see this. So, yeah, no, this map is, no, fuck this map, man. Like, fuck that experience, dude. I mean, at least you can play the maps offline, but, like, I want to play with people. Like, that's the thing that's insulting. So, yeah, no, that's trash. Though, the real question is it worse? Okay. Oh, is it worse than these 5? Dude, these 5 maps are bad, though. I have no idea. I don't know. Tortured Path sucks. Whatever. Let's move on to Bodega, which is one of the smaller maps that, you can play. Like I said, I played it offline. Bodega and Mount Olympus, they exist. They're fine. They're actually pretty similar to Grossenhaus, which you might think that because of that I would like them, but no, just they're just like similar to Bus Tipo. They're just small distraction maps at the end of the day. Like, they're nothing really all that special. Though I would rather play them than Bus Depot because at least you can actually use perks. And not only that, but also, I actually like the World War II weaponry, so whatever. That being said, I would rather play those than Altar of Blood, because Altar of Blood is literally just a giant brick of a freaking map and is way too goddamn confusing on why the fuck they're in Antarctica. I will get a little bit more in depth with that when we talk about Frozen Dawn in a second, but I don't get why there's a bunch of freaking German zombies in Antarctica. That's really fucking confusing. And not only that is that part confusing, but also it's just like, to be fair, Bodega's kind of reused assets, but like this map is just reused assets from their previous DLC map Egypt, reskinned in a snowy area. And to me, that's pretty fucking lazy. And just exemplifies that exactly what they were trying to do with the Tortured Path. So, yeah, no. Don't play Altar of Blood. It's not good. You know what else isn't good? The Frozen Dawn, which even more so is just one giant block. This map, dude, this map isn't like total shit. It's not totally awful because the layout itself is like not too bad, but it just feels so uninspired by this point. This is your last fucking DLC. This is your last DLC map, and this is the map that we ended on for World War II. No, dude. Like the map should have been at least 3 times the size of the actually is. Like, I don't know why this map is so goddamn small. Like, it's so goddamn small. Like, what the fuck, dude? And also, like, every single wall is a literal just cave. Like, it's literally caved the map. Like, every room looks the same. And it's so just confusing. Like, you know? Like, it just baffles my mind with how just bland this map is. I don't know, like, how else to describe it without, once again showing my freaking thing or whatever. It's not a good map. And once again, reused assets for the zombies, reused the same exact models, reused the wustlings, reused the skelly boys. It's not good. This map's bad. Alright. Okay, thankfully I'm not, streaming as late as I have before, so we can talk about Black Ops 4. So, this is also another not good game. Black Ops 4, Voyage, F, 9, A, Blood, F, Classified, B, Dead of the Night. Ooh. Okay. Because I haven't played this as much as some other maps, I'm going to put it at C. Ancient Evil, B. Alpha, F. Tog, C, but a high C. Okay, so, Voyage of Despair is wasted potential. Actually, that and Blood of the Dead. But even more so with Voyage, because it takes place in the Titanic, which actually is a pretty cool idea. But the thing is that makes this map really bad is that although this is cool, this is something that is pretty cool about Voyage of Despair. It is a map that, took a lot of research into trying to figure out what the Titanic looked like before it got destroyed. And I'm just going to be quite frank. That's pretty cool. Like, that they were able to just go through all that, time and just make a near perfect replica of the Titanic in a game form. That part is pretty cool. But there's one tiny issue with that. The map is way too tight and way too big for its own good. This map is literally corridor the map, especially at the beginning part, like in the like first couple of doors. Holy shit, this map is sometimes really confusing to go through. And as a result, it is not enjoyable, like in the slightest, when you traverse through it. Like, oh my god. Granted, would I play this map over, let's say, Die Rise? Yes. Well, yes. But it has the reverse problem with Die Rise. Whereas Die Rise was a vertical map where, you can easily fucking die from, like, falling or whatever. Like, it's way too vertically based. Voyage Spare is way too horizontally based. And because of that, is really corridor feeling in a really tight zombies game that really shouldn't even be like that in the beginning. And just there's why the fuck are we going back to the fucking problem with exos where there's way too many enemy types? There's way too many fucking enemies on this map because you got in this map you got normal zombies, that's a given, right? Then you've got all the catalysts, which there's 4 different versions of them. And then you've got the fucking Stoker, and then you got the Blight Fathers. I'm pretty sure there's at least one more enemy. I swear to God. Hold on. I'm looking this up. I'm just looking this up because I'm pretty sure there's at least one more enemy that pissed me off in this map. Like, I swear to God. Like, it was pretty bad. And once again, it's not... I'm not even really complaining too much about... It's just... The enemies are just fucking bullshit. Sometimes. Like the Stoker, man. Like, and the Blight Father. Like, they aren't it, Chief. They aren't it. Also, Pack-a-Punch is the fucking worst. Because it teleports every 2 rounds. Between like 4 different areas. And sometimes it can be in a really good spot. Like at the very, top of the ship nearby where you got the disc thing or whatever. Sometimes it could be underwater, right next to a bunch of zombie spawns. No. Also, this is just a general complaint about Black Ops 4 for me, but I really hate Black Ops 4's mechanics. Reducing the amount of perks they can have down to 4, just permanently. You can't even get Perkaholic or anything like that, which allows you to get like all the perks that are given on a map. No, you're only restricted to 4. What else? Oh yeah, just the cluttering of the UI. It looks really just way too arcadey. Yes, I know Zombies is an arcade like game mode, but like it just looks ugly. I don't know. It's just bad. Like, I don't know. Just Black Ops 4 mechanics are bad, and it's definitely exemplified on this map. Like, I'm not gonna go into Easter egg, though. I heard the Easter egg's bad. So, yeah, no. This map is caca. It's pee pee poo poo. It's bad. It's a bad map. Granted, it's better than Die Rise. That's not saying a lot, though. Thankfully, though, we got 9, and 9 is easily the best map in the game because it is a map that is designed around the mechanics. Even though I fucking hate the mechanics, and I would still, play a bunch, like pretty much every other map in A tier over 9. I still have to at least give it a little bit of respect, in the sense that, like, quite frankly, the fact, like, the way that the BO4 mechanics are built around, like, the fact that they are built around those mechanics, like, yeah, the map is built around those mechanics, it works in the map's favor, and that's something that I gotta give credit to. Also, it's not that big of a map. It's not that big of a map, but it makes up for that by having a lot to do in said map. Similar to Horizon Drac, you can pretty much play it, mostly however you want. You can't really play it like a traditional zombies game still, but I don't know. It generally does work. I don't know. I don't know really how else to describe it. It just works. In the words of Todd Howard, it just works. So, though my biggest problem is that there's too many enemies, but this is the exception where I feel like they aren't really too much of a hindrance, because in this map you've got regular zombies, you've got the catalyst types, so 5 Lightfathers, the Tigers, and the 2 Gladiator types. 9. Is that why it's called 9? Hold up. Wait. Did I just crack the code? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I cracked the code! That's why it's called 9! Ah! That's great! It's because there's 9 enemies on the map. You're welcome, Zombies community. I figured that out for y'all. Even if it's not based off of like the catalyst number, guess what? There's Zombies, Catalyst, Marauder, Berserker, Tigers, Lightfather, Fury, Wrath, which are the 2 bosses, and then that cult guy. 9! I cracked the code. That's why it's called 9. Okay, because people were trying to figure out why it was called 9 for the longest time, and I think I cracked the code. So no one's probably gonna see this, but at the end of the day, I figured out why. That hopefully that will remain a secret. Anyways, it's a good map, though I think it's at the bottom of A for me. All right, next up is Blood. Fucking hell. God damn it. Blood. Dude. For me, I do agree with the criticism that, like, because it's living up to Mob of the Dead, it fails. What the fuck was that? Hold on, I'll be right back. That was spooky. That was the neighbors. Okay. Anyways, sorry, that scared me. Okay. Oh god, we were talking about blood. Ugh. Okay. So, what was it? Oh yeah, I was talking about. So yeah, no. The problem with Blood of the Dead is just the fact that it was living up to what Mob of the Dead was. Why? Because this is a remake. This is a remake of Mob of the Dead. And it... okay, here's the thing. I'm going to be quite frank with y'all. To me, if Mob of the Dead didn't exist, this map would be a D. Because I think this map, just on the basis of just looking at it on its own, it has a really, pointless, beginning area that where you don't really go back to unless you're getting perks or whatever. The bridge area where you go from, this like lab area to where Mob of the Dead is so fucking insufferable to go through. What else is there? Oh yeah, just that part of the layout is not really all that good. The warden's the warden's house is just a nightmare to, be around because zombie spawns are all over the place there. You're using inferior weapons. The Hell's Retriever is not as satisfying to not only get but also use. Pack-a-Punch is a fucking bitch to figure out. And, just basically just, having a lot of really bizarre and just weird choices. Also bringing back Hellhounds, which makes no fucking sense, but I digress. So yeah, no, like on that basis alone, it would probably be a D. Like it would probably be a D. But the fact that it's trying to live up to what many people consider to be one of the best maps of all time, I can't put it higher than an F. Like, it's quite frankly insulting. Not to mention, I heard that this map's Easter egg takes 3 fucking hours to complete, which I would probably, die of just getting my head exploded because of just how bored I would be if that's the case. Like, oh my god, that is just bad. That's bad. So, just off of principle alone, I have to put it in F tier because it's just wasted potential. And not only is it wasted potential, but also, quite frankly, just shits all over a lot of people's favorite map in all of Zombies. And for me, yeah, I kind of have to stick to my principles on that regard. So, sorry, but Blood of the Dead is not good. Anyways, let's move on to Classified, which, quite frankly, I really like. As a matter of fact, I definitely like this more than the original 5. Out of all the remakes that were on Black Ops 4, like the different maps, I think this is definitely the best one, and it's the second best map in the game. Granted, I still hate the fact that it's using Black Ops 4 mechanics, but making the map, pretty, just a little bit easier in comparison to the original 5, I think it's a bit more enjoyable. Because, once again, keep in mind, I'm teetering on whether or not I think 5 is good or bad. Yes, I did put it at B, but it's only because, it's good with co-op, but I fucking hate playing it solo. So, there's that aspect. Whereas on Classified, I can play it solo any day, and I can still enjoy it. So, there's that. And then also, the Winter's Howl is actually fixed in this map. It's actually way better. Also, Pack-a-Punch isn't actually as annoying as I thought it was going to be to set up. And also that really funny Robert McNamara Easter egg, which I find pretty funny. 10 out of 10 right there. I don't know, just generally speaking, I have fun playing Classified. The only reason why it's not an A or S is, once again, it's because of Black Ops 4 mechanics. I wish it was on Black Ops. I wish this was a Black Ops 3 map at the end of the day, but it's not. If someone can demake this into Black Ops 3, please, that would be amazing. But I digress. Anyways, next map is Dead of the Night. So, I will admit, Dead of the Night, I think I would probably put it in okay. I do need to really rethink all these. Okay, so would I play? Okay, I don't really play these, so I'll put them in low C. Any map that I don't really play that much, I'll just put in low C on this tier. So okay, there we go. Dead of the Night, I think, generally speaking, I think it might be better than... I'd say right there. The problem with Dead of the Night... Okay. Here's the thing about Dead of the Night. It's not a bad map. I don't hate the map at all. I think that is actually, as a matter of fact, it's a pretty cool setup. Basically being, a mansion that's overrun by zombies and like other like horror creatures, right? So like vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. That's a pretty cool concept. My biggest issue with the map though is some of those said enemies. The vampires are really in particular the thing that do kind of kill it for me because they limit the amount of health that you're able to heal at a given time. And that could fuck you over, and I really do not like that. Also, the crew in this map, instantly forgettable. Like, I'd argue that they're one of the worst crews in all of Zombies. Like, they're really that bad. I don't know if they're the worst, but they are up there in terms of just how bad they are. Also, the volley, I don't remember what the wonder weapon's called. It's okay. It's nothing. It's unfortunately not as unique as I wish it was. Yeah, it's that slime revolver thing or whatever. Yeah. I mean, it exists. But I think the biggest hindrance with this map is getting to Pack-a-Punch. God damn, this fucking Pack-a-Punch sucks. Because you have to do a bunch of random shit around the map. And it's not fun. It's genuinely really not fun. And yeah, also, can we also just say rest in peace to the fact that this had the worst marketing? Like, dude, literally, I didn't even know this map was coming out. And literally the day, I didn't know until the day of. I was like, oh, there's a new map. And guess what? Not many people even really know that this map exists because they didn't market it. And guess what? It paid the price for it. No one plays this map. So, yeah, unfortunately, this map was really gimped at launch. Though, to be fair, it's not as bad as Radioactive Thing, because that was another map that just had no marketing and was just awful. So at least in that respect, Dead of the Night is better, like, in every single way. And then we got Ancient Evil, which this is another map that, like, I think, okay, it does more good than bad. I think, generally speaking, Ancient Evil does more good than bad. I love the theming of the map. It's an underground ancient Greek city. I know it's very similar to Buried in that it's an underground city. I know, but I do think that getting to Pack-a-Punch is fine. Actually making us care about the chaos storyline, because that's a thing. Voyage 9, Dead of the Night, and Ancient Evil is a different story from the other maps, which is like, what the fuck? Like, just make it fucking like ether, but I digress. So obviously, making us actually care about that story now, like, it was a bit weird, but is what it is. Enemy types. Okay, the Spartoid skeletons, they're whatever. I mean, they're skeletons. The six-armed giants, though, they can be annoying. Once again, I wish they were minotaurs, but because there were werewolves in the previous map, understandable why they wouldn't have wanted that two beastmen as the roaming boss. Yeah, no, I can see why they didn't do that. Though also having Blight Fathers and Catalysts again? No. That ain't it, Chief. That definitely wasn't it, for me at least. And then I think also just the separation of Pack-a-Punch from the rest of the map. Like, just splitting the map in half is just another thing that I find really goddamn bizarre. Usually, I don't like those types of maps personally. So, that's just a me thing, though. But, I don't know. That's just... eh. So that being said, I still think it does more good than bad, so that is why I'm putting it in B. So I just don't know where. Once again, I'll rearrange everything to the finality of a tier list, but either way, oh god, Alpha Omega, fuck this map. Oh my god, this map is bad. Like, this map is bad. Granted, would I play this map over Infection and Tortured Path? Yes. But like, it's still really bad. Dude, if y'all remember the freaking rant I made 2 years ago about, how bullshit this fucking map was and how people were fucking glitching around the map, you know how much I hate this map. Like, it's also an insult to Nuketown Zombies, because Nuketown Zombies was awesome to me. I liked Nuketown Zombies, but holy fucking shit, dude. Like, this is bad. Like, bring back Nova 6 crawlers into really, annoying versions of themselves. Similar to another map on F tier, Die Rise. That was awful. Kind of just ruining the layout of the map. Like, especially in the early, in the beginning part, because you're not in the central area like you were. That's not even the spawn area anymore. Spawn's all the way on the other side of the freaking road, and just that whole area is just a clusterfuck. And the underground parts, no, that shit's terrible. And it's even worse that 2 of the perks are down there, plus Pack-a-Punch, which, by the way, dude, the fact that you have to have everyone in that generator room area to turn on the fucking power is absolute caca. What the literal fuck is that shit? Dude, you saw on my fucking stream yesterday where there was literally one person that was freaking idle, and because of that, we weren't able to turn on the fucking power. To me, that is just bad design. Especially if someone is fucking idle. I swear to God. Also, what else is really bad? Oh yeah, no, once again, go watch my rant from 2 years ago about how fucking awful this map was in terms of the glitches. It was actually insulting. But generally speaking, Alpha Omega is awful. Don't play it. It's actually, no. Die Rise is still bad, but I'd say Alpha Omega is my personal least favorite map. Actually, now I think about it. Die Rise is still bad, but Alpha Omega just stings even more. So, yeah, no, fuck that map. It's a piece of shit. Alright, thankfully we only got Tog or Toten, and then we got one more game. So, Tog. I'm teetering on this map as well, but yes, I did put it at C, but don't make any mistake. It's not a bad map. It's a bad end to the original storyline. Because the story is just not all that good to begin with, if I'm going to be honest. It is a little bit cool that the transit crew were able to return for at least one more map, I guess. I mean, to be fair, they were getting way better in Buried. They've gotten better in, Buried, and then they're okay in this map. But, and I will say this, the layout of this map is pretty good, I'd say, for the most part. But I think, once again, it just feels average overall, but because the story is pretty bad, that's why it's at C. Because, once again, Black Ops 4 weapons and mechanics, they're just kind of eh. Also, the challenges are just kind of, bland and just kind of generic at the end of the day. But, once again, it would have been fine if the story was better. If the story was better, I would be more comfortable putting it at B. But because the story is kind of not that good, I'm putting it at C. So, Though I'm at least glad that they went back to Call of the Dead, because Call of the Dead is pretty good. So that being said, we've got one more game left, and that is Cold War. Oh God. Okay, so yeah, no. To be fair, some of these maps I have barely played, and also we're not going to be ranking the individual maps for Onslaught or this version of Outbreak. So unfortunately, we're not ranking Zoo. I know that's a triple S map, but whatever. It is what it is. All right, here we go. Let's rank them. B, F, D, A, D, B, A. A really wild list, I know, but let me explain. So, D Machine. At first, I did not care for this map because it's a remake of Nocturne Totem, and to me, I just wish it wasn't because we've already seen Noct so many fucking times up until this point. Like, it was in every single game except for Black Ops 4 and twice in Black Ops 3. As you can probably imagine, I was getting sick and tired of Noct. Even though I respect the map, it's obviously the first map in zombies ever. I was just getting tired of it. That being said, though, I'm not gonna lie. Cold War mechanics, generally speaking, are way better than Black Ops 4's. Yes, it's still, to me, I hate the fact that, you are limited to the amount of points that you can get per kill with a zombie. That's just something that I personally am not a big fan of either BO4 or Cold War. But that's my only complaint about Cold War mechanics. The fact that they brought back... Oh, okay, but the other thing is just how much more expensive perks can get as you get more perks. That, to me, is fucking stupid. They should just have a fixed price. Other than that, I love a lot of the changes in gameplay that they did for Cold War. Being able to pick up a bunch of different grenade types, being able to use kill streaks for the different things for zombies, being able to upgrade your weapon through a different tier system and then pack-a-punch it. That, to me, I really like. And I think D Machine, in retrospect, is probably the best map for them to really showcase what Cold War is all about. And, it's actually fine. I think I have definitely grown to appreciate this map as time went on. Because, once again, the story is a pretty intriguing. Yeah, it's not as good as the overall narrative of the original Zombies timeline. But I think the setup for the story was cool. The fact that Weaver and Samantha were working together was pretty cool. The Plague Hounds, yes, well, they're hounds again. They're at least a little bit different compared to the just normal-ass Hellhounds. The layout outside of the Noct area is pretty cool. I'd say the one complaint I have is the Megaton, only because he feels like a bit of a bullet sponge, but he's not the worst boss in the world, thankfully, and so he's a bit tolerable to deal with. So, but yeah, no, overall, it's a good map. Unfortunately, what was the one thing I definitely do not like about Cold War is Zombies Ocelot. It is not a single map. It's actually a game mode where you go into a bunch of the multiplayer maps and you have to survive in specific spots for a certain amount of waves. And I hate that mechanic. It's such a restrictive mechanic and it's dumb. So if anyone was complaining about not being able to play this game mode, you're not missing much. It's bad. No one plays it anyways, so who cares? So, whatever. Though it is better, I will say this. It's better than Turned on freaking Green Run. It's a better game mode than that. I still hate it though. And then we get Dead Ops 3, which I did not care for. Like, I think just a lot of the changes in game mechanics that they did with this were not it for me. To be fair, I've only played it twice, one of those times being yesterday. So maybe it's just something I have to get used to, but I don't know, dude. I just feel like they just changed a little bit too much, especially when it came to like the run and gun rail shooter parts. Like, I just did not care for that. So, whatever. I'm not spending too much time on that. I don't really care for Dead Ops. Though I will say this, Firebase C is really good. Really good layout. The mimics and the return of the manglers are pretty cool, even though it's kind of weird that the manglers are back, but whatever. I feel like this is the one map that is separated that, actually doesn't feel annoying to go through, because it's pretty easy to go between places anyways. Power is pretty cool to turn on, because it's not just a single switch, but it's not something that's like overly complicated like Origins. The Ray K, which is the wonder weapon of the map, is pretty cool. Oh, I forgot to mention the die. The die is okay in D Machine, but the Ray K was pretty cool. I know it got nerfed to the ground, but whatever. It's still cool. And I don't know, it's just a fun map, Like, there's not too many enemies. There's a lot of, stuff that, like, there's a lot of, like, weapons around, so you can do whatever. The Wonder Fizz returning is pretty good, so they can use all the updated perks in the game. So, my only complaint about the map is the forced tower defense sections. But thankfully they're not as annoying as the bombed things in Descent or the fucking tortured paths challenges. So, thankfully those aren't a slog. They're just a nuisance at the end of the day. So Firebase C is pretty good. And then we got Mauerger Toten, which I hated the map when it first came out because the fucking disciples were annoying. They've since nerfed them, and the map is way better as a result. Though the story is a bit lame, like, because though it is cool that you're playing as Omega instead of Requiem, which those are the two factions that are fighting between each other. I know it's weird, but whatever. So yeah, no, I can at least get behind all that. What else is there? I mean, the layout is a bit confusing at first, but once you get used to it, it clicks with you. I definitely do like the streets, like the where the streets are. That to me is like top notch, like classic zombies right there. And just just being another city map in Berlin is always fun, especially by the Berlin Wall. That's pretty interesting to be around. And like I said, thankfully, although they're still kind of the enemies that are on the map, they're not nearly as bad as they once were. So yeah. And then we've got oh shoot, I forgot to talk about Outbreak Cold War. I'm sorry, dude. If you like Outbreak, that's fine, but like I just don't really like that for zombies. I don't know, to me, Outbreak just feels, I don't know. It feels barren at times. Though to be fair, would I play it over all these maps? Yes. But I'm sorry, to me, sometimes it just feels like it's a bit of a slog. And the fact that a lot of it is tied to doing like an Easter egg quest, throughout the entire map, to me, that's what kills the enjoyment for me. So, as a result, I'm sorry, but I don't really care for Outbreak. I might try it one more time and maybe it will click with me, but I just don't really care personally. So that's just me, dude. I'm sorry. That being said, the final map, Forsaken, played it for the first time yesterday. I actually thought was pretty good. I like a lot. I like the story, the setup. I like a lot of how open the map is. Granted, I know it's reused from the campaign. I should be complaining about it being a fucking reused asset, but in this instance, I actually don't really care. Like, the whole game is a whole reused asset. So at the end of the day, any content is worth it. But yeah, no, the layout is good. The boss enemies weren't really all that annoying. Getting weapons was actually cool. Also, trying to figure out Pack-a-Punch was actually pretty cool because it had a little bit of a story to it, which I know technically Mob of the Dead did, but just the way that it was just introduced, I thought was pretty cool. So, though, I definitely would have to play it more often, especially whenever this Halloween event goes away. So, and maybe, it will actually end up being pretty damn cool. Like, even more so. Maybe it will even reach up that S tier. So, yeah. Now, that being said, I'm actually going to rearrange all the maps and see if I actually change my mind on some of them, because I'm actually starting to feel like I'm changing my mind on a few of them. Some for positive, some for negative, but yes, I think I feel comfortable with this list. Obviously, my list can change, but I think I feel comfortable saying that this is my official tier list for Call of Duty Zombies. So, with Extinction. So, yeah, this is definitely gonna... Oh, wait. Well, yeah, I'd say... Well, yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, this is definitely going to spark a lot of controversy, so I am well aware of that. But, yeah, this is just genuinely how I feel about all these different maps. And you can take it or leave it at the end of the day. But, it is what it is. And once again, if you disagree, just at the end of the day, remember, this is just my personal opinion. Like, if you think that, I don't know, freaking Zombies in Spaceland is your favorite map, that's fine. If you think that, like, if you think that Shadows of Evil is pretty bad, okay, that's fine. Although, actually, yeah, there we go. Like, yeah, if you think, that's bad, that's fine. Like, at the end of the day, we're all human. Like, we all have different, tastes and opinions. And yeah, this is just sort of mine, generally speaking. Like, once again, this might change, because especially considering that the next Zombies game is going to come out in a few weeks, which, by the way, that's really weird to think about. But yeah, no. I'm going to share this around. Hopefully I don't get, canceled. And yeah, this is definitely a bit of a mood. Like, it's definitely a big mood. God, sorry, it's just... I'm glad this didn't take, 6 hours, but it did take half that time, so whatever. At the end of the day, that's going to be it for tonight. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to hit that follow button down below and turn the bell icon so that you'll be notified exactly when I'm streaming. While you guys are at it, make sure to check out all links down below as well, specifically the Discord and the SoundCloud. And if you guys can as well, you can also hit that subscribe button. If you can't necessarily do that, that's completely fine. I'm just glad that you took the time to watch this, but if you want an incentive to, if we can reach 5 subscribers, I got a Super Nintendo back there that we can play if we can reach that number. And yeah, that would be cool. Make sure to share the stream as well. I'm probably going to be re-uploading this onto YouTube at some point, though that's a whole can of worms. And yeah, no, once again, I'm just glad that I did this. So, because like I said, you know, I don't feel like I really have expressed just, my liking and disdain for some of these maps. And I'm just glad that I was able to. So, either way, I'll see y'all later. And yeah, hope you guys have a good night. So, yeah, see you guys later. Bye.